Welcome to Post-Tsunami, where we talk about the life after the Tsunami of Sound, a concert slash marching band at Channel Islands High School. I am with Natasha. What's up, Natasha?
What's up, Duke? Duke.
Dude, it's been so long since we
Yeah.
talked.
Yeah, it has been.
I remember we ran into was it Zondra's Discord or something, like when we first like talked to each other, or was it like IRL somewhere? I don't remember.
I don't remember. I think it was somewhere random.
Yeah.
Like super random.
Yeah.
And I was glad that it didn't feel like super awkward where I had to like kind of look at you and be like, I don't know you.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually I'm not like that with people that I know.
Mhm.
Like I'm rarely
Yeah.
like that. Like if I haven't talked to you for a while, I'm like, hey, what's up? Like that kind
Yeah. Yeah, most of the time I look at you and I'm like, remember their name.
Oh yeah. I was like, what was that? Like,
Yeah, like yeah, I met like Lorenz and I think is it Lorenz? I know I met Marielle and then like I know for a little bit I was like start to the M and then she was like, hey, what's up? And I was like, oh, there you go, Marielle, I remember.
Cool. All right, Natasha. Yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself for the people who don't know who you are.
All right, so my name is Natasha Purvis. I graduated 2013 of CI, and I've been in band. I've been in Channel Islands Drumline / band since 2010, my sophomore year, and I played the bass drum, quads, and then for jazz band I played the bass.
Oh yeah, you were in jazz band.
Yeah, I was in jazz
really
band.
Forgot about that. Did you do it? Did you do it your whole time there?
No,
Or did you only do it for like 1 year?
I think I just did it for a year and a half, maybe. I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember when Terrell told me to like join. Maybe it was my junior year, but then technically I rolled over into senior year, but senior year was kind of like a mess for me. I was like hardly active in band, even though I was drumline captain. So it was pretty bad. So, but yeah, no, I was also drumline captain senior year. So.
Oh yes, yeah. I completely forgot about that because when your senior year, I was kind of like hands off of the band. I didn't really keep in contact with you guys.
Yeah,
which is probably a good thing. Remember,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like you and Zondro at that time really needed that space to like be yourselves and kind of separate yourself from high school at that time.
Yeah. And I was going through a lot as well. Completely new environment, new band, just new everything. But anyways, so what kind of like high school banding were you like in the past?
I don't. From my perspective, I think I was the more stricter, like disciplined bandy. Mainly because I was on drumline side, and drumline was more strict with punishment and like being more well behaved than band would be, because band was a little bit more of a loose cannon, I want to say. And and then on top of that, I was raised to be very like put together and all that stuff. So I think I was that bandy that just kind of stayed in their lane for the most part. And I think that's why I ended up becoming drumline captain, was because I just followed the rules and I kept to the point and all that stuff, like hit everybody in track as much as possible. So I was that bandy.
Oh, okay. How about
but I was fun to talk to.
Yeah, how about like I don't know how to say it, like after hours? Like how are you like as a person?
As a person?
Yeah.
Oh man. I think I was outgoing enough. I mean, everyone seemed to like enjoy my company. I was very shy as well. So it was a lot of like when there was a lot of band parties or band outings and stuff, I was very close. Like I just stayed with mainly just the drumline members and I didn't mingle too much with other bandies. And then even when the newcomers would come in, it was still kind of like I only had a few that I would like hang out with, and then the rest I was just kind of
Yeah.
like I knew them through association of the of the organization of band and drumline. So yeah, I mean I was fun in the sense that I was down for anything.
Yeah.
After hours or after practice was done and everything. Um, yeah.
Hmm. I never saw you as like the kind of shy type from
And
from
yeah,
what I remember.
yeah, I feel like a lot of people are gonna watch this and be like, "You weren't shy at all." But the
It's just
whole
like
time
X,
I was filled
Y.
with anxiety.
Insert like X, Y, and Z story of you doing just this crazy stuff. Like it's like, what were you doing back then?
It's like disclaimer, I like blocked everything of high school. I don't even remember.
I was a completely different person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was just like because one of the biggest things I really remember is just like my very on and off relationship with one
Mhm.
of the ex band members.
Yeah.
Um, so it was just kind of like that's the biggest part of my life that I remember, but it's not super related to band itself. So we don't need to dive into that.
Yeah, it's
So
kind of
that's why I'm
related,
like,
kinda not. Yeah.
kind of, yeah,
That's more personal. I don't know if you wanna share
yeah.
it or not. And
No,
then
I'll leave it.
yeah, and then you were captain with Tony, right?
Yeah, Tony Kawansi.
Yeah, Kwanzi. How was that experience? Like, how was your relationship with Tony
Um,
as a
through,
drumline
I
captain?
mean, as a drumline captain, I felt actually really, really bad.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, because right when, like, right before senior year started, towards the end of junior year, my dad got diagnosed with cancer. So
Mm.
I was dealing with all that. I don't know why my screen just went super dark. But so my dad got diagnosed with cancer, and then I was dealing with that secretly. I never really told everyone until like it was just getting really, really close to the like the end of it. Um, and by that time, we already did the whole like interview to see who's gonna get what role.
Yeah.
And originally, I was gonna try out for lieutenant because I didn't
Mm.
want the responsibility. I didn't think personally I was capable of becoming captain. Um, and I felt more like since Marisol had more of the experience
Mhm.
and the drive that she would be a better fit captain, but they wanted me to be captain. Anyways,
Mm.
so the whole time, and then my dad died right before summer, or I think summer just happened. He
Uh,
died July 1st, and that whole time is just the grieving and mourning
right.
period. That whole entire senior year. So we went to the Philippines like the first couple months of school, and then so I was gone from drumline then, and then uh, and then so Tony had to handle the newcomers and running the line without
Yeah.
me right in the beginning of school, and then on top of that, when I came back, I had like a very unstable relationship with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and then of course just more grieving and being lost and not knowing what to do. And so
Mhm.
I was very like, I can't go to practice, I can't do practice,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And it just didn't feel right a lot of times. And then when I did come back, I just didn't feel like I should be there. So it was a lot of just mental depression and stuff like that I was
Yeah.
going through, and I felt bad for um I don't know. I think, oh yeah, I remember I was gonna quit because I felt so bad
Mhm.
and like so useless for the squad
Yeah.
that I was just like I should just leave because it would have been better if I just leave and walk away so that they can pick themselves up instead of having to like carry my weight.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I tried to do, and then the only good thing about my ex-girlfriend at the time was that she actually talked me into staying. Yeah, and then like Tony hated me because I already told him previously before I was gonna tell the whole members that I was gonna quit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I felt a little bit bad. But I mean, me and Tony are still very close best friends
Mhm.
now, so
Yeah.
that didn't hurt us like after the fact, but it did like it was a lot of
Mhm.
mental toll on my part through that whole senior year of being captain with Tony.
Yeah. First off, condolences for your dad.
Oh, thank you.
And I lost my train of thought. So, what was I gonna ask? So you didn't feel bad in that, like, there was some drama, like, you felt bad because there were personal things that were happening in your life, and that was affecting, like, people that were, like, looking up to you, like, as a leader, I guess?
Yes, yes. That's exactly it. It's
Yeah.
just, because for the most part, any type of drama that would happen between
Mhm.
me and another individual, I feel like I was pretty good at just ignoring it, which in high school terms makes it seem like you're an a-hole and you're talk and like if you know if you have some type of drama with someone and like when you're at practice and you're acting like nothing's wrong, they think that you're a robot or whatever. And I think I got that a lot from people
Yeah.
at the time in high school because I was very good at separating when and the time and place to like react. And you know, during practice, there is no time and place to react like a kid. You know,
Yeah.
you should. Which sounds bad. Kids that are watching, be a kid. Like, sweet Jesus, don't beat
Yeah.
me. but but yes, but I really did feel like as a leader, you should be there and you should be able to, I guess, in a way, mask like if there is like I said like if there is something wrong you should be able to mask when you're on duty, and I've
Yeah.
failed to do that my whole senior year, which is understandable, but at that time I
Yeah.
really did feel like I should have been more present as a captain and shown that you can go through something hard and be a captain still. So
Yeah, I think that's understandable, like, yeah, something really bad happened, regarding your personal or your family life.
mhm.
Um, I think it's okay to have because I feel like sometimes Drumline was a little too strict, and I don't know where
Oh yeah.
Drumline crossed, I don't know where that line is with Drumline sometimes.
Hmm.
But I think this is one of the cases where, like, hey, I think Drumline can loosen, its
Yeah,
strictness a little bit. Um,
yeah.
did you feel like that willingness to be, like, strict and, like, be a leader, like, conflicted with, I know, like, the things that you were going through at the time? Did you feel like that conflicted a lot with yourself, and that's why you
um
felt bad?
I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I want to say that because because when someone's sick, I remember a lot growing like as my years in drumline, the 3 years I was in drumline, like my sophomore and junior year under the uh under the leadership of Zandro and Sophia,
Yeah.
like there was a lot of if someone called in sick and stuff or said that they couldn't go, there was a lot of like doubt
Mhm.
in their eyes. I mean, some of them it was kind of reasonable because some would
Yeah.
just straight up ditch and whatever, and I get that, but still, like as somebody that's a subordinate under a leader, and then you see them just kind of always doubting the authenticity of someone having to leave early or having to leave in general. Um, sorry, one of the puppies just opened up the bedroom door.
Oh.
I have like 5 puppies in the house right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Um, like I just felt like because I grew up in the squad seeing that me having to constantly leave and not get over, like I wasn't getting over my father fast enough, that I felt like I was taking advantage of of my father's death, and then therefore I'm abusing the system. Like I just felt like all that.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah, I
yeah, I
feel
get
like it was a little bit of the strictness that I was growing up with in
yeah,
the squad that really reflected on my mentality as a senior
yeah.
captain.
Yeah, that's one of the things I kind of regret doing is being so strict with,
Mhm.
like, for example, like, punishment. One of the things that I regret personally is, we did this thing in band where at the end of a football game, if we lost, we would do punishment back to the band room.
Yeah, I
I
remember that.
100% regret doing that because back then, my mentality was like, "Hey, if we're not cheering, we're not helping our team, like, have that emotional support under them."
Mhm.
So I figured that, if we did our best, like, they would always win, which is not necessarily the case because we don't control the football
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
So those are one of the things that I regret doing is doing that whole eat punishment after the
Mhm.
football game.
I barely remember that, but
You don't
yeah.
remember
I
that?
I remember it now, but, like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm partly a masochist, so, like so,
But
like,
yes,
I was
everyone is suffering.
yeah, so I was just like, "Let's do this." Like, I was holding my bass drum over my head,
Yeah,
um, but at the same time, because drumline was so strict, we're used to that type of punishment, so
yeah.
to me, it was just, like, another day,
No day in the
and
office
that
too.
yeah, it was just like, "Okay, we're getting punished again."
I think
So,
I think back then, I don't know if Drumline also did it, like, you guys might have did cadence during
oh,
the whole
yeah,
e-punishment thing, so that's why you don't remember, like,
yeah,
the
that's
pain and suffering.
yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe
that's
that was
probably it.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
John Joe can probably I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but that would make a lot of sense. Because imagine just, like, marching to the band room and it's just silence, you know?
Oh,
That would be really depressing, actually.
yeah.
It's like, aren't they a marching band? Shouldn't they be, make some noise or something?
I know, the football team will be like, "Man, we really did screw up, even the marching band's not playing."
Yeah, yeah. I took every moment I could to play, like, that's the reason why we're there is to play music, you know?
Yeah, but
So
I think I mean, I don't remember much of Julian because I wasn't there
yeah,
when Julian was drum major, but, like, through you, I feel like you pushing to make sure that we played everywhere was really I mean, Mr. Z loves, the
oh, yeah, yeah, I
ASB.
remember, yeah.
Yeah, like, and then you I feel like you in turn like made us really motivate him to get that Tsunami of Sound type of name
Yeah.
coming up
Yeah,
because
that was really prominent, like, we weren't
yeah,
the CIHS radar band, we were the Tsunami of Sound.
yeah,
Completely
and
different, like, face.
yeah, and I think that's a little bit of like you and possibly Julian, like your guys' drive to like really make sure music flowed within the
Yeah,
school constantly. And so you should be very proud of that, I think. Because
yeah,
I
I
don't think
feel
I've ever
proud.
met a band where they're nicknamed at their own school.
Yeah.
So so like I always tell that to like everybody um that always asks like, "What school do you go to?" I'm like, "We go to the school with the Tsunami sound."
They're like, "What the hell?" Yeah, the name was kind of, self-proclaimed,
Mhm.
um, but then it just kinda caught on, like, it's like that thing where the meme turns into, like, the real thing,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, I think it's one of those things, and it just kinda it's stuck, and to this day, it's still used, like,
Mhm.
if I say the Tsunami of Sound, the current bandies will get it, like, they'll
Yeah.
know. Yeah, um,
Yeah, I'm glad the name is still there.
yeah, it's a pretty unique name, it's pretty cool. And
Yeah.
then I remember at Cal Poly, just a little bit of history, Paul DeSalis, he went to Cal Poly too, so we were in band over at Cal Poly for, like, a year
Mhm.
together, and that was really cool because we were bandies before, but we were in a completely different band,
Yeah.
a completely different context. Um, Long story short, he managed to get drum major for Cal Poly's band.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a big deal
Good
because it's
job
a
for
college
him.
band. Um, and I remember him mentioning something along the lines of, Cal Poly's band being like a sound of tsunami or something like that. It was like a nod to the Tsunami of Sound, right?
Okay.
And our band director was like, "Huh, we should steal that." I was like, "No, we got that copyrighted."
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I remember that. That just barely came over right now. But
Yeah.
that's it's I don't know, it's a pretty cool name because it implies, like, you have, like, this really big sound coming towards you, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah,
like,
I really like that instead of like the classic like we're rolling thunder or whatever, like
oh my
it's just like
god. Yeah.
It's like we're raiders and we have to deal with water anyways. It's like we're a
Yeah.
freaking tsunami.
Yeah. It sounds cool, but not to a point where it sounds cheesy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, it's very unique.
yeah. Yeah. Because I definitely think like we can make it like super cheesy.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that's just my opinion anyways.
It's a tsunami of cheese.
Tsunami of cheese.
Yeah.
That's gonna be in the back of the alumni band shirt, the new alumni band shirt.
Oh my god.
Maybe. Okay, cool. Let's move on to like the band memories, stories, dramas, chisme, any of that stuff.
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
see.
Do you have like
So,
anything that comes to mind for like just like, oh, I have to tell this story?
there was this prominent memory back in my first year. I believe it was my first year when like when the OC Park was still like being renovated,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was just a lot of like hills. So we had our band camp situation, and you know, Drumline's always there first, and
Mhm.
they leave last. They're always overworking these hours. Um, so I think like towards the end of one practice, my father went to go pick me up, and normally what we do is like we have our instruments like in a square block,
Yeah, yeah.
and then when we're gonna huddle up, we just leave it there in the position that we were in. And my father went to go pick me up, and he ran over one of the cymbals.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like I guess he wasn't paying attention
Uh-huh.
to like there were cymbals like metal on the ground. He was just seeing that we're all like huddled up in the grass area.
Mhm.
So like he just drove in, and I was like, "No, Dad, stop!" And he was like, "No, no, no, no." And then you just
Oh,
hear the
shoot.
pop noise of like the metal, and we're just like, "Oh
Uh,
God."
did it
And
leave
I was
any,
just
like, tire marks?
I don't think it left tire marks, but it did leave a big dent. I think we were able to fix it though, but it did screw up the sound a lot.
Oh,
So
interesting. It's like, how do you
yeah,
fix a cymbal?
yeah, yeah. It was like so bad. It was all like popped in.
Yeah.
Um, so that was like one of my memories that Ashley, my sister, brought up because she was there.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. Uh, I remember a lot of the initiations, which is what Patty mentioned in her podcast
Yeah.
with you, and just the nasty food.
Yeah.
But I thought that was like super fun. I don't know if they still do it anymore because of the whole like colleges would haze, and then like they would
Yeah.
technically our initiation was hazing, and we were just kind of like, but it's just food. But
Yeah, it's a very, like, it's a very fine line. I don't know where you
yeah,
but it
yeah,
sounds like you guys were very safe about it,
oh yeah,
consenting, like, asking the parents, asking, if you're allergic to anything, that kinda thing.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, which fun fact I didn't know until I watched the podcast. I didn't know that they actually contacted our parents. I just
I
thought they
didn't know
just did
either.
it. I just thought they just did it. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. But, like, can you confirm, like, Patty's or her like, our conversation 2 weeks ago, like, that experience with
Um,
initiation?
that it was gross. I
Yeah.
don't remember exactly. I mean, I don't remember if we did it well because we did it at Cassie's house with Patty.
Mhm.
I don't think we had they had the luxury of a water hose to wash them off.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We didn't. So we did ours at the
Oh.
park.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what they had was water balloons to wash us off. Um,
But, yeah, that's
so
not the same as a hose.
so so pretty much what happened is that like they I believe they did the same thing. They had us like on like attention
Mhm.
and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden we realized that we're all the newbies are lined up, and then it's everybody else that's been in the line for a while is just ready to like
Mhm.
smother us with like nasty food. Um, I don't remember too much. I remember pickles and mustard.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just really gross, and I think there was
Yeah.
honey involved.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then after that, they were like, "Okay, now it's a water balloon fight." And then we just had to like we just played water with the water balloons and like try
Mhm.
to wash ourselves with it. But it, of course, I didn't get anything off. And I think some people even walked all the way home with their
Yeah,
with
that
their
sounds kinda weird. They're just
yeah.
covered in, like, pickles and mustard. It's
Yeah.
like they're basically a hot dog at that
Yeah,
point.
pretty much. They're like country fair food
Yeah.
when it comes back up. Um, so I remember that. I remember smelling really bad, and my dad was just like laughing the whole time.
Huh,
So
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know about, like, any of the drumline initiation stuff, so I'm like, this is the first time I'm hearing about it, like, 10 years later.
Yeah, I think the only initiation we really ever had was just the food thing. I
Mhm.
don't remember anything specifically other than that.
Yeah.
Uh, but I mean, yeah, because a lot of things that Drumline did, we did do together, but it was mostly like punishment and uh, practice and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, we did a lot of group punishments. Like if someone screwed up, then everybody has to suffer.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember that.
I like those kind of punishments because there's that social pressure to not screw up, if you know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
We did that with the band room, like, cleaning, I remember that. Like,
Hmm.
if the band lockers were not clean, everyone would get punished because it's
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
on us to keep our space, tidy.
Oh yeah, I
And
remember that.
yeah, and, like, everyone
And
did it too, I did it. I gave myself punishment basically, like, "Oh, crap.
yeah,
We're all screwed."
yeah,
Yeah, I made sure to, like, not exclude it, like, everyone. Because if I had that rule, but then I didn't do it, that makes me kinda like a hypocrite, and I
oh yeah,
didn't wanna be, that kind of person.
yeah, exactly. I totally get what
Yeah,
you're saying.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I remember when that started to get implemented, and people would get frustrated because they'd be like, "Who did this? Who put the mess in here?" And it's like it wasn't even us. It was just some random person that was in the band room.
You have, like, those, like, trolls and griefers in the
Yeah,
band now.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
Luckily, I don't think we had those, I think, but I definitely think there could have been
yeah.
some griefers.
Mhm.
It's like, I'm gonna purposely make the band room, like, really messy just to screw up with everyone.
Yeah, I remember finding a bunch of mess in like the bongos that would be all the way in the back, and
Oh,
like
yeah,
people
yeah.
just throw trash in there. I was like, dude.
Dude, that sucks. Yeah, nowadays, those aren't even there anymore. They replaced, those with iMacs. It's very interesting.
What?
Yeah, if you go to the band room, the walls are just lined up with iMacs. There's probably, like, 7 or 8 iMacs. It's really weird.
What are they doing? Are
I
they
don't
are
know.
they teaching them to become DJs now? And they're like,
Music appreciation DJ edition, like,
yeah,
that's what they're teaching kids in school nowadays? That actually sounds pretty cool. I would have taken
yeah, I would
it.
love that. Especially because it's like it's becoming like into light, like a lot of EDM and
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that's something that I would have definitely taken that I didn't.
Mhm,
Active listening to music has come up in quite a few of the other podcasts.
mhm.
But it's definitely something that you don't think about, like active listening and listening to one like, oh, I didn't realize that part of the song was. Sorry, go
Uh,
ahead.
no, there's this one part. It's in a Destiny Child song. I don't remember
Uh-huh.
which song it is, but my sister just called out this one spot where it just kind of has this weird repetitive like and then like now oh that's all I hear and I'm like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
ruined the
yeah,
song. You ruined the song for me because that's all
yeah.
I hear.
Mhm.
Um, and then like I know what is it? One Republic's what is that song? I
All
don't
the right
remember the song.
moves. That's what I
No, it's
think
not
of when
All
I
the
think
Right
about
Moves.
it.
I don't remember the song. It's escaping me. Okay, it doesn't matter. But there's this like really high pitched noise in one of their songs, and like no
Oh.
one else hears it but me.
Oh,
But it like kills me every time because I'm just like, it's gonna come. I know
yeah.
it.
Is it like an ear piercing, like, white noise?
It's an ear piercing noise,
Oh,
but no one else
interesting.
hears it.
Hmm.
That's what you get for trying to like listen to music more in depth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Luckily, my headphones are pretty, like, neutral, so, like, nothing
That's
gets
good.
blown out of proportion.
That's good.
How did we get into this topic?
Bongos
Bongos?
and
Oh, yeah.
iMacs.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Um
I remember the car washes a lot.
Oh, yeah, car washes. Nowadays, they don't do car washes anymore because
Yeah, didn't they
across the
get like?
street
Oh
across
yeah,
the
there's that
yeah,
one car wash thing.
yeah.
But didn't they stop it way before then too? Because like we need permits. I know that's a lot of things why we couldn't do a lot of stuff is because we
Oh,
couldn't do bake
yeah.
sales. Like they don't
Oh,
do the
yeah.
Raider Fest anymore, do they? Because
I think they still do that.
okay.
I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I remember doing a bake sale. I think it was like the summer going into my junior year.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you
Yeah.
were in band by then.
Yeah, I remember that. Is it the one that was at Jonathan's house?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
So we tried having like a bake sale in front of his house,
Mhm.
and freaking Oxnard community service like truck like buses us.
Yeah.
I was like, well, we're never doing that again.
I
Yeah,
know that sucked.
yeah. And then with the car wash thing, I actually don't know. They did stop, but I don't know if the whole permit thing was the reason. I thought it was just a car wash across the street, and that the band couldn't be competitive with like an
Mhm.
actual like car washing business.
Yeah,
You know?
because I vaguely remember something my senior year where like we were gonna do a car wash and then there was talk like we can't really do car washes anymore. And
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, maybe if you ever do it with Tony or somebody
Mhm,
that was more active that year, I don't they can probably brush into that, but I think that's when it started to kind of implement like we can't do it.
mhm.
But looking back at the pictures, I'm like, man, we overpriced these car washes.
I think they were fairly reasonable. It was like $5 for like a sedan, like a smaller car, and $7 for a truck slash
Mhm.
SUV.
Yeah, I remember when Angel's mom was there, and then there
Yeah.
was this RV that wanted us to get the roof.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they wanted us to get the roof. Um, and then like I was gonna go up and like start washing the roof, and they're like,
Yeah.
"No, get down! No, we're not cleaning the roof." And it's like you could take your $10 back or whatever. And I was like, "Okay, what's
Alright.
happening?" But
Shook,
yeah, I remember.
how do you price an RV? Like, I didn't really think about that. I didn't expect someone to
Yeah,
bring their freaking RV, but I
yeah,
guess if you
no.
want a really good deal, that would have been the place.
Yeah, you just have some kids do it
Yeah, just have, like, the
poorly.
high school kids do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember, I would split the band into, like, groups, and
Hmm.
then I would assign, like, each group to a car, so it'd be really efficient because everyone would have downtime, but
Hmm.
everyone would, like, work in a team, so, like, you can get
Yeah.
stuff done really fast. Um, and plus, like, you didn't have those people just kinda, like, sitting around because there was designated time to sit around, actually.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if your group wasn't doing anything. Because
Hmm.
I think there's a point where there's too many people working on one car.
Yeah.
You just can't do anything because you're bumping into people's hands and shoulders and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I remember that.
yeah. So I thought it was more efficient to just, like, "Hey, we'll go in groups of, like, 7,
Hmm.
and we can get a car wash done in, like, I don't know, 10 minutes or something."
Yeah.
Be super
I mean,
efficient.
that's yeah, I think that was actually really good leadership on your part, and I think a part of that kind of rubbed off on me
Mhm.
as I went into the real world
Yeah.
and like started to get into a position where I had to lead. It was just like a lot of
Mhm.
like learning to split the work
Yeah,
evenly and more proportionate. Yeah.
yeah, it's a
So
whole,
thank
like,
you.
delegation. It's a whole delegation because my leadership style is like, "Hey, let's get as many, let's get the community as involved as possible, um, and kinda, like, play to people's strengths, I guess,
Yeah.
um, instead of, micromanaging people." Like, you have to trust people sort of, like, if you're a leader, there's a certain point where you have to trust people, like, hey, you have to trust them to do their job, like, to do
Yeah.
what they're, I guess, delegated to do.
Yeah.
Um, and but then, like, it also goes, like, the other way around, like, people have to trust you to, like, lead as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and when I was in band, I just wanted to do a good job, ultimately. That's really my big driving force, and that was pretty much it. because you're in this position that has a lot of influence. Because mainly Terrell. Because I know in some bands, like it's completely different structure. Like your drum major is literally just a title. Like you don't really have any power. You're just there to conduct the band. But our band was completely different. So
it really did give that freedom to us students.
Yeah. So since I knew how much power was given, I wanted to do like a good job because the band like either lived or died with leadership. Like how good the band was, that's how good the leadership was. Pretty
honestly
much.
though.
Yeah. So some years, people will just kind of like do the bare minimum, like that's fine. Other years, people go like super try hard. It just kind of depends on the leadership. Yeah. Did you have a favorite like year in band that comes to mind?
I think it would be the same as everyone else on this podcast so far. It's my first year, so that would be sophomore instead of freshman. I think it's just like the innocence of it. It's just like you're super new and you're making a bunch of new friends. In my case, I didn't even want to join Drumline. I remember this. I remember a group of friends of mine because I was in Terrell's guitar class. And then that group of friends were like, "Oh, we're gonna try out for Drumline," because I was wondering why they were staying late for after school.
You always do the drums.
And then they were like, "Hey, dude, you're black and you have rhythm. like you should join." And I was like, "Oh no, well, my dad, he wants to pick me up." And then it's like, "No, just ask your dad, dude, just seriously." And then I called my dad. It's like, "Hey, Dad, my friends want me to join Drumline." He's like, "Okay, I'll see you later." And he hung up.
Just immediately.
Because my dad was a bandy. He was a alto sax player. So
that's cool.
The moment like he grew up, he made me and my sister grow up with music constantly. Like I was in violin, choir, and then guitar.
Awesome.
So like when he couldn't find another place for me to like use my musical talents, when I said that I was gonna be joining Drumline, he was like, "Okay, like you did it for me." So I ended up doing the tryouts and stuff, but I remember just kind of being like, "I don't want to do this."
Okay. I was like that with drum major. I didn't want to do it too, but I'm really glad I did.
I'm glad that everyone pushed me to like go for it. I believe Chris was also one of them too, and Chris is like my straight up homie. So so like I have that with him, and so that's my favorite year. Because what else did we do that year? I think we went to UCLA that year.
So this was my junior year. If it was your sophomore year, right? That was my first year as drum major. I had no idea what I was doing at the time. But UCLA was one of the things we did. We've been to UCLA a couple times. I think that year they didn't have a band day because we weren't invited for whatever reason. I forgot why. I think like Terrell just forgot the application or something. I don't know. Like someone can confirm. I don't know if even Terrell remembers. But that was the first year that UCLA did their pep band day, which is exactly the regular UCLA band day, except in a basketball context instead of a football context. So they brought a bunch of high schools, and I guess we applied and we also got in. And that was like super cool to play in a gym with like I don't know, like 6 other high schools with UCLA's pep band. And the unique thing about pep band day was that we were like right next to UCLA's band. Like we got to see exactly what how they function as a band. And I remember them playing Word Up, dude. I loved it. Like the movements they do, how they sounded. They had like one guy on bass drum, but he sounded like 20. It was.
I know. I remember that. And then I remember Sophia being like, "We have to play like that."
Yeah. I feel like UCLA was like a big, like they were the band that we looked up to, like definitely. Yeah. Like that's where I stole Casual Fridays. That's where I stole like the hand signals for the songs. I stole a lot of things from UCLA.
You just wrote them down.
Yeah, it's like, all right, this looks good. I'm just gonna write write it down.
Well, that's good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, my sophomore year was probably the best because a lot of things just kind of bloomed.
Yeah.
I was also like my freshman year. I was in, as Patty mentioned, like I was in academic decathlon,
Yeah, yeah.
and then that died.
Oh, really?
Oh, I remember. I remember one other thing. The reason why I wasn't gonna join Drumline is because I was gonna join golf. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I was, was it Mr. Rada? I think that
Yeah,
was the
yeah, yeah.
golf instructor.
Yeah.
So because I did golf my end of junior high,
Oh,
and then I was really good at it. So I was like, oh, I'll just join golf in high school.
yeah.
And then when I told Sophia and Zandra that I wanted to also do golf, they were like, it's either drumline or golf. And then
Oh.
I was just like, well, I already made some friends here, so I guess I'll just do drumline.
Yeah. Are
uh,
you like super into golf?
I mean, I haven't touched it since
Yeah.
junior high because equipment, and then I don't really know
Yeah.
how to get into the ranges without paying a big
Oh,
fee. So
some absurd amount of money.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I kind of dropped it since then.
Oh,
But
okay.
I do miss it, but it's just one of those things where I'll just probably just touch it later on in the future.
Yeah.
Uh,
Was it one of those things you grew up, like, doing? Like, your parents were, like, big golf people, or did you just kinda, like, picked it up during school
uh,
sometime, just kinda stuck
it was
around?
my parents. Well, I should say my dad is more
Mhm.
athletic and music, and same with my mom. Like they were very into just branching out in that sense. I
Yeah.
think like they really like they put. Not only was I like in music stuff as a kid, like we were put in soccer and basketball and volleyball and like all these other
Mhm.
sports. So it was just kind of like another sport. So so it wasn't like necessarily my family was a golfing family. It was just you're gonna be active. We 100% back that if you're gonna be active.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so and I think my parents just really wanted to just make sure I had a social life.
Oh,
Even
yes.
though
Yeah.
I didn't really feel it until I joined Drumline and band because I was always that quiet straight A
Yeah,
student
me
that just
too,
kind
me
of
too.
yeah. It was just like go to school, do whatever club that you're into, and then go home. Like
Mhm.
and then whatever. But being in drumline and band really and like brought out this more freedom. I think especially because we had that up to 5:30 practice, and then there was
Yeah.
that time of waiting for our parents to pick us up. So it was that freedom of um, like getting to do whatever you want and like
Yeah.
that 30 minutes to sometimes 45 minutes of just like waiting for your parents to pick you up. And
Yeah,
I think that
those band shenanigans, right?
yeah, and I think those were my like my favorite points, and really what brought me to become who I am is because I
Mhm.
was able to finally branch out and become the little beautiful butterfly that I am now. So
Yes.
I was like a cocoon the most of my life until drumline and band.
Yeah, yeah. And being a band and drumline was kinda like a lifestyle. I don't know if that's the right word, but
Mhm,
you were part of, like, this big organization, and, like, to be a part of it, you have to put, like, a lot of time and energy into it.
mhm.
Maybe not like some other schools, because like, some other schools, band was literally, like, a 9 to 9, like, band camp,
Yeah,
like, 5
yeah,
days a week kinda thing. Like, we weren't that strict,
yeah,
on time, but there still was, like, a good bit of commitment, like the whole, like, drumline or golf kinda thing.
yeah.
Um,
Now that like when you mention that, it's like it really shows how unique our band is because, like
yeah.
you said, we're not super diehard yet.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like we do put off that we are, um,
Yeah.
like because we'll bring it if we need to bring it, and I think a
Mhm.
lot of it is just that camaraderie and spirit that
Yep.
we just bring and that we built within like ourselves, and especially with the leadership being student ran, that it's just
Yeah.
like yeah, it's just like we just I feel like we are almost just as equal as these 9 to 9 other
Yeah.
schools
Yeah,
that
yeah.
are run by like a professional person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like the whole, like, student leadership because, like, the band lives and dies with, the leadership,
Yeah.
basically, and that's I like having that control over, like, like Terrell, like as a band director, he was very loose, and I appreciate that. But if he
Mhm.
were like super strict, I don't know if I would have enjoyed band as much.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think I would have enjoyed it either if,
yeah,
like I think that's why I really did love it, was just that just kind of freedom to do what you need to,
yeah,
and just, like, figure it out,
yeah.
it's very funny just to see, like, a bunch of high schoolers deal with a bunch of high schoolers. It's
Yeah,
like, maybe
that's
maybe that's Terrell's master plan, is just like, "I'm
yeah.
not gonna deal with high schoolers, you guys can deal with each other."
It's just like a drama show for him. He's just like sitting back, like
Yeah. He's just in his office, and when it gets too rowdy, he comes out.
yeah. But then even then, we had punishment to like keep us in line, basically. Um,
Yeah.
so we were sort of like self-disciplined, I guess.
Mhm.
Like we were fairly disciplined for high school kids. And I
Yeah.
remember when subs would substitute for Terrell, they would be amazed that like we would run ourselves basically.
Oh, yeah. I
Because
remember.
yeah, because now that I've talked to um like Julian's a teacher, and then Patty wants to be a teacher, and
Mhm.
like I think I could see like the struggle of being a teacher,
Mhm.
because like your main goal is to teach whatever material that you need to teach, but then there's
Mhm.
also like that whole discipline aspect too,
Mhm.
and that's something that I think is really difficult in high school. um,
Yeah.
it might be a little bit easier because you're dealing with kids that are a lot older, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah. I think I remember, I don't know if it was you or Patty that said it, but, like, just, like, you being a teacher, you also have to, not every one kid is the same.
yeah,
So, like, when you're teaching, not every one method is gonna work with each other, and then
right,
that whole thing when we have, like, our section leaders, and our section leaders have to teach, your section, and then you just have, like, a couple that, like, get it, like, super instantly, and then
yeah,
there's the others that are like, "I don't know how to hold this instrument or this
mhm,
stick," or and you're just, like, you're struggling for weeks just
mhm,
having to hold it properly before you can
yeah,
even get to the part with the sound, and I think that was very, like, important in
mhm,
our leadership and in our, growth as a whole entire marching band,
yeah,
and really, like, showing that we never gave up on one another. I think that was very
mhm,
important, and I loved that we just were so open to, it doesn't matter who you are and how inexperienced you are, we're gonna try with you as long as you try,
yeah,
like, and because I feel like other bands would just quit. Like, they would just kind of like, no, you're not good enough. We're gonna go. And
yeah.
and and CI's band was very, very just like open to, like, we'll try with you, and if you're not that great, we'll, like, just play softly. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's just yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, there were a few
but
people that, they didn't come in with any, like, band experience at all. They didn't know how to
mhm,
read music, they didn't know how to play whatever,
yeah,
but we, like, nurtured them,
yeah,
through their struggles, and, we got them playing with us. So,
yeah,
because ultimately it's about having, like, fun with the band, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love, like, constantly just keeping the fun.
Mhm.
Which I wish, again, Drumline was more lenient. I hope they are now. I haven't really
Oh,
checked
yeah.
in.
That's what I've noticed with the drumline nowadays, is they're a lot more lenient with
Okay,
things. So, that's what I like about the current drumline
that's
nowadays.
good.
Yeah. They're not, like, super strict, because when I joined band, freaking drumline was, like, low key ROTC, like
Yeah, yeah.
like,
That's the vibe I
yeah,
got.
like, drumline was super strict. We couldn't even, like, touch the drum. We couldn't hold the sticks, like, if
Oh, yeah, I
you weren't a
remember, "Don't
drumline
touch the
member.
drum!"
Yeah, yeah, stuff like that. Like, you guys are low key, like, ROTC.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Not so much nowadays.
yeah, I think that's why I felt, like, a little bit at home with Drumline, and why I had that strict mentality is because I'm a military brat, so, like,
Mhm.
having Drumline being very, like, military-like was just like, "Oh, okay, I got this, like, this is easy." But it's just, like, reflecting, it's like, no, kids should not be ROT format unless they join ROT.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So so yeah, does Do you know, does the Drumline still do the glow in the dark squad spec thing?
I think they did it last year, yeah.
Because I've
They've
noticed,
been keeping it going.
yeah, because that's one thing that I'm proud
Oh,
that I
yeah.
pushed. That
Mhm.
was one thing that I feel like I really did push my senior year as captain, and really just, I guess that was my redemption for the constant absence and whatever,
Yeah,
because we were always talking about like fantasizing to be that glow in the dark drum band, Drumline that you see on YouTube and stuff. And we were like, we want to
yeah,
do that. We want to do that. And I was like, well, we don't really have a lot of the equipment, but we can probably use glow sticks, and
yeah.
like we can either like open up the glow sticks and like drown our drums in it, or I don't know, like what to do. But I remember spending like a lot of my own money to buy a lot of the drums, the glow sticks, and then we were like testing it out if it would work, and then it was like not that glowy,
Oh, yeah.
but it was enough for like the naked eye to see. But I know on
Mhm.
camera you can't see anything, you can't tell what it
Yeah,
is. But I remember when we tested it out, Maricel and like I think Marielle and a couple others started to kind of have second guesses, and they didn't
yeah,
want to do it anymore. And I was just like, we can either quit and not do it and regret not doing it and not trying to push ourselves to try,
yeah, yeah,
or we could try it out and then maybe it'll be something. We can leave our mark as the first in this county probably to like try and do a glow in the dark performance
yeah,
and yada yada yada. And I'm really, really happy to see that since then, almost every squad pack, I think it
mhm,
is actually every squad spec, there's the glow in the dark performance just
yeah,
revamped and better, and it's just getting better. And I'm just like,
yep,
you know what? I'm not even mad. Like I feel like old high school me would be like, oh, they're just copying our performance. But
yeah,
as I'm older, I'm like, no, keep fixing it and keep trying to make
yeah,
it better. And I can't wait for the day when they get funded to like actually have lights on
yeah,
it instead of just like glow.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but yeah.
CI just turns into, like, this professional, like, drum line that does glow-in-the-dark performances. That would be, like, the end goal right there.
I feel like
Um,
it all started in 2013.
yeah. Yeah, that was your senior year, right? When, you did the
Mhm.
whole glow-in-the-dark stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, so, like
that was
yeah.
our legacy.
You left your legacy. Yeah, I think as a teenager, you would've been like, "Oh, they're copying us, blah, blah, blah."
Mhm.
But now that I'm older, like, no, you left a legacy, you
Yeah.
know? You left, like, some foundation for future bandies to use as a reference,
Mhm.
um, and I think that's super valuable.
Yeah.
Really that sort of legacy.
Yeah, I'm
And
super glad that happened.
yeah, and I think every performance is on YouTube, probably, I think.
Yeah, except I think the Drumline YouTube page got lost with Zondro.
Uh-huh,
I don't know if he passed it on to someone else and they lost the password, or Zondro just has it and then he forgot the password. I don't know,
uh-huh.
but it's just there and it's dead.
Oh, no.
So I'm just kind of like, sometimes I still subscribe to it, I think, and I'm just kind of like, I just see it there. Just
It's like,
there's
well,
no updates or anything.
yeah.
I think it's just left off with Drea and Jose's
Mhm.
class, and I think that's about it.
Yeah. I think, see, like, the regular band had a YouTube page too, and, I tried to pass on the credentials because I made that
Hmm.
account, but I don't think they use it. I tried getting into it, to see if I could upload that band multimedia, um, of your senior year,
Yeah,
um, but I don't think it would be good on YouTube because it would just be muted because all the copy strikes of
yeah,
of all the
yeah,
music
yeah. You would have
that I had.
was it RJ, right? RJ made it,
Yeah,
so it's like RJ
yeah,
would have to change all the music.
yeah. Like, that's too much work.
Yeah.
So, I guess he just had it in his Google Drive.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, just in case it gets lost in history, the glow in the dark performance, was at squad spec, and at our high school, squad spec was, it was when, like, all the squads of the school, so the squads were, like, I don't know, like, short flags, banners, drill, all of the dance teams, drumline, all of the big
Hmm.
squads would come together and put on, like, a performance, And since squad spec was at the end of the year, it would be like a combination of all of the work they did throughout the year into like one performance, basically. So it was kind of like a big thing for the squads to do, just to give some context in case like squad spec like dies or something. I don't know. Or
oh
if
my
people,
God. you just, I don't know why you made me remember this, but I just also remember my year was when we did the stacking drummers, and
stacking
we had,
drummers.
because we had was it Brian? Is it Brian Dew? The small.
Yeah.
Well, he's taller now, but
Oh yeah.
but he was small at the time. And then there was Jose, and I think we had, they were both cymbal players, and I think we had Jose carry Ryan on the shoulders, and they were both swinging their cymbals
Yeah.
while they were stacked. And I remember that was like a big, I don't remember if that was freshman orientation or just one of the rallies, but like I remember a lot of people loved that, and I was just like, that's cool.
That's
like,
pretty cool.
Yeah, we did that too. But yeah, I
Yeah.
remember.
Was Brian in Drumline for like just that year? Because I don't remember him in Drumline.
I feel like he left midway or something. Like,
Okay.
because I remember a lot with my senior year that a lot of people left. Like Jessica wasn't there. I think Brian left midway, and then Patty wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember us being kind of small for since like compared to like the previous years, we were pretty small.
Yeah.
And then we weren't really getting a lot of like traction with the tryouts until the end of the year when we were graduating. Which I'm glad. I'm glad that people actually wanted to still try out, because I was a little bit scared that people were just going to be like, like we're going to be the new short flags, because short flags would always kind of like get super small.
Oh no, rip. Yeah. Like there would be only like 6 people. It's like, oh crap, we need people to join. Yeah, but nowadays, like I don't think you have to worry about the drumline dying, because I think I don't know about this year, but maybe like a year or two ago, there was a point where I feel like drumline was too big.
Yeah.
Like it was massive. The band didn't have enough money to buy like what's the brand? The snare that Marcel used. I forgot what the brand was. It really like, it's not Pearl, I think. I think it was a Yamaha drum.
Yeah, I think it was Yamaha.
Yeah, it was like it was a really nice like Yamaha like field snare, right?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have enough money for that, so we basically bought like these I don't know, think of it like a drum set snare. Like that was kind of the sound, because like a field snare and a snare from a drum set are like two completely different things. So they bought a bunch of those type of snares. Those snares that like you kind of, it's like you wear it on a strap.
Oh yeah, that
Those
one.
kind of snares.
The marching.
Yeah, the like very like super traditional like snares. They bought a bunch of those, and Drumline maybe 2 years ago, probably still to this day, they had like 6 or 7 snares, and I'm like,
Oh
holy
my
crap,
God.
that's a lot of snares. Like, dude, when I was at Cal Poly, our Drumline had like 7 or 8 snares, but that was for a 200 person band.
Yeah.
Now imagine 7 or 8 snares for like a 50 person band. It's just
I
way out
know.
of proportion.
Yeah. All those gawks.
Yeah, it was just too much. And so Drumline has definitely grown, I think, ever since we left high school, for sure.
That's good. That's good.
But yeah, I mean, I sort of disagree with having that many snares, but whatever. I guess the more people, the better, I guess. Question mark. I mean, as long as the band like makes up for that sound, like the band just has to play louder, because snares are pretty loud.
Yeah. Yeah, I always felt bad for you guys when you had to like beat us.
Yeah.
It was like, play louder, and then everybody in the band is just like, I hate Drumline.
Dude, no problem for the trumpet. It's like, you want us to play louder? That's like words to our. That's like dessert to our ears. Like, hell yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Music to our ears. Yeah, football games we would always just blast it anyways, so it's fine.
Yeah, man, I miss the football games.
Yeah.
I miss going to the homecoming rally. I had to miss it like twice.
Oh yeah,
I think I think once was because I was at boot camp, and then the other time I think I was here in the Philippines.
Oh
So
yeah.
so it's just like I just see it on my feed, like, okay.
Yeah, they I try to stay in contact with the drumline captains or the drum major, some sort of contact so that we can get the alumni
Mhm.
in. Because I think the homecoming rally is like that's the big, event that a lot of alumni drummers go to.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to open that up to the game as well, because that's where I have a lot of fun
Yeah,
too.
I mean, to me, I always thought mostly like with marching band and drumline, they mostly go to the homecoming game rather
Yeah.
than perform at the rally.
Mhm.
I've noticed because I mean, I did one of the rally performances, and then I was so rusty and bad
Yeah. That's
because we
okay,
didn't
that's to
really
be expected. Yeah.
we didn't really practice. But yeah, I remember being super nervous for a bunch of
Yeah.
high school kids, and I'm already an adult.
True. That's okay, we expect you to be rusty, it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't expect everyone to be like this god tier player, especially like in homecoming too. Like I haven't played my trumpet part of like a few months now, because when COVID happened, we stopped having rehearsals for the concert band that I'm in.
Hmm.
And that kind of sucks because we had all these rehearsals, but we never had a performance to
Oh
do.
man.
Yeah, so I feel like we like all those rehearsals we had were kind of in vain. But like now as an adult, sort of that time with music is like my time to get away from like life for like 2 hours during rehearsal. And it's
Yeah.
great. Like just forget about everything, let's sit and play with music. And dude, I
Yeah.
love it. uh,
Yeah. Yeah. I miss it. I miss it a lot
mhm,
every time. Like, I wish I can have that camaraderie and like that
yeah.
group to like play and perform again with,
Mhm,
because it's kind of lonely over here. I mean, I have a bunch of instruments. Like right here is a bass, electric
mhm,
bass. So it's just like I have that, and I have an acoustic guitar and a bunch of
mhm.
ukuleles and a drum set. But like, it's kind of sad and boring to play by yourself
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I think as an adult too, that's just kind of life now. It's hard to find people. It's hard to have like that experience in high school again where you had like a
Yeah.
group of like band or drumline people and
Yeah.
like
To just play like.
and to just play and that you would meet regularly too.
Hmm.
Because now that we're adults, everyone's schedule is different and like you
Yeah.
rarely see people. It's hard to stay in contact with people. I don't know, it's rough. Adulting
Yeah.
is rough.
Yeah. We have to wait until we get into our 60s when it's retirement. Everyone's
Yep.
free again.
Yeah. Then we can play like every day.
Yeah. So high school kids, cherish your moments now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I always you know, tell high school kids, like cherish this moment because you're not gonna have it again. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, you might have it in college, but even then, like you have to like, that has to be like one of your requirements if you're
Yeah.
gonna go for like post high school education.
Hmm.
And not everyone has the financial means to do that. So,
Yeah.
um, so there's definitely like a barrier to that entry.
Hmm.
Um, are there any other like memorable moments you had that you could think of?
Um,
Um,
Besides the ones that I've said, I'm trying to think. Uh, Not from the top of my. I mean, I remember before was it Mary Cruz principal?
mhm.
What was the late, like
Yeah,
before she
Hernandez.
kind of, yeah, before she closed it off to us and like we're restricted. I remember having like being able to just kind of like having the respect
Mhm.
and the trust from the office to have the
Oh,
keys to
yeah,
like to go
yeah.
and like open up the band room and like utilize it whenever you want. And then I remember going super early, and then like we would just like bring our own video games and just put it on the projector, or we put it
Yeah.
on the TV. Like I remember doing that all the time.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Uh, yeah, and then like of course the after hours on the band room. Like I just remember just being goofy and just like being dumb. And then
Yeah.
I remember like Drumline still had their Drumline room, and
Oh,
then
yeah, 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 yep,
and then
yep.
we're painting. we're painting Drumline on the
Mhm.
the rim of the wall,
Yeah, yeah.
and I spelled Drumnin instead of Drumline.
Oops.
Yeah. So now that's kind of like an inside joke with a lot of like the band member or the
Mm,
Drumline members that are like that were there. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know if it's still there, Drumnin, but if a bandy or a Drumline member sees it, that's why it's
That's
my
why it's
fault.
there. Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
But yeah,
But
other than the other memorable moments that I mentioned, I don't remember too much.
mhm. Is there anything you would do, like, differently if you were to go through that, I don't know, your high school career again?
Uh, I would probably join my freshman year.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, that was when Julian was around and Eduardo
yeah,
and then Zelda, all like that class.
yeah, I would love to have experienced like other drum majors because I
Mhm.
experienced you and then Lawrence and a little bit of Paul.
Yeah,
So so it would have been cool to have another person
yeah,
to like be
yeah.
under. Um, who else? I would I definitely like when I was in a leadership position and I did attend like the leadership meetings. I think I would like not come at it like too strongly because I
Mhm.
think a lot of it, as we said before, I was very into, or not into, but like conditioned to be strict. And
Yeah.
then the difference between drumline being like ROTC and band
Yeah.
being very fluid and like uh, like free loving, you know,
Yeah.
uh, like I remember kind of being like, well, you guys are too all over the place and
Mhm.
it makes us look like weird, like if drumline's all strict and you guys are just goofing around, like we need to make you guys strict as well. Instead of saying that, I wish I would have said we need to be less strict as a drumline
Yeah.
if band is gonna come off as very like happy and just free, then we should be
Yeah.
free as well. It shouldn't be the other way around, especially since technically drumline is like we're the rhythm, but like we're just part of band as a whole. And
Yeah.
and it's not like drumline like what am I trying to say? It's not like band can't live without drumline or drumline can't live without band type of situation. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
so
like it's like we need you guys, but you guys don't need us because
yeah.
your like drumline can be its own unit, whereas with the
Mhm,
band, like we're screwed without
yeah.
without the drumline,
Yeah.
kind of
So
thing.
yeah, so I wish I gave off a more like
Mhm.
open mind to be more free
Yeah,
than a strict.
yeah.
So that's something I would do differently. And then just like be more communicative with my
Oh
squad as
yeah.
well,
Mhm,
especially senior year. Because I just never talked about it.
mhm.
I don't think like I think my whole senior year I never officially grieved about my father passing until a couple years after I graduated and I finally
Yeah,
like lost it and I went to therapy and all that stuff.
yeah,
Which therapy, anybody that needs to go to therapy. If you
yeah.
can afford it, go to therapy. It's totally worth it. But yeah, I think that's what I would have done was just kind of like just take advantage, not advantage, but like really utilize the people that were there for me and understand that the camaraderie that was built isn't fake
Yeah,
and like really understand that band at least at CI is more like a second family.
yeah.
Um and I wish I kind of was more open to that instead of
Mhm.
kind of trying to be this hard ass hard ass
Yeah, like
captain or
yeah,
person.
like the force just for the sake of being strict.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, I would like to hope that there was a reason why, like, band was strict or drumline was strict. Like, there's a purpose to it. I don't wanna be, like,
Mhm.
strict for the sake of being strict because like, there's
Yeah.
really no point to be, like, doing that.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's really, like, the standard that we would like, that we held to ourselves, like,
Mhm.
musically and as a band. That's
Mhm.
the reason why we were so strict, and that's the reason why drumline was so strict.
Yeah.
Um, but I think, like, at the end of the day, you guys sounded great. Because maybe because of the strictness, but because everyone put in that energy and that effort to sound really good and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's pretty much all I would do. Pretty much differently.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, just I was pretty much just a teenager, so I don't know if I would
Yeah.
do anything else different. I think
Yeah.
I think I think I'm glad of what the stuff I did because, like I said, I was a straight A student. I was like top 10 in high school and whatever. And I was like, my goal was like valedictorian. Like I want to be
Yeah. Yeah.
valedictorian
Yeah.
and like prepare for college and stuff like that. But being in drumline and band, I really just was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I don't want to be that person
Mm-hmm.
that just thinks about school and thinks about the future constantly. Like I never really lived in the moment a lot. I always was
Yeah.
told to think about my future
Mm-hmm.
and be befriending the people that I've grown to know in drumline and marching band. I became more free in that
Yeah.
sense, and so I don't think I would change a lot because a lot of the stuff that I did, I think was good, like
Mm-hmm.
lessons that I needed to learn at the time, and I think it
Yeah.
was a good time to learn those lessons before it's too late. Like,
Yeah.
before you're at that age where
Mm-hmm.
where you could just get in trouble with the mistakes. So I'm
Right.
glad. I'm glad. I think anybody that is still in high school listening to this, like, or watching this, like, do the mistakes now because it's
Yeah.
just, even though it sucks and you're probably gonna have some horrible consequences, it's not gonna be as horrible as if you did it past
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. As long as it's reasonable, like don't
yeah,
be like, I don't know, doing like committing like, I don't know, these
felonies. Yeah, don't
crimes,
be a
like
felon.
felonies. Yeah. It's like like we're not endorsing that at all.
Yeah, but
um
like if it's something high school related that's sane and
yeah.
reasonable, go
Yeah.
for it. Just
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. And I think a big thing is like personal growth too. Like I know definitely like in high school and junior high they push like college a lot and like, oh, you got to figure out
Hmm.
what you want to do for the rest of your life, like your
Hmm.
career, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's also important for just like that personal growth, just to be a kid,
Yeah.
you know, because once you're adult, you can't be a kid anymore. You know, you have all these
Yeah.
responsibilities and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for you to have that personal growth and just
Hmm.
to be like a stupid teenager
Yeah.
doing like stupid things because um I mean I've done a few of these episodes and like we did some stupid things
Yeah.
in band
Yeah.
for sure, but they
Yeah.
were all really fun.
Yeah, I remember some stupid. I don't remember, but I know we did. I did a lot of stupid things back in
Mhm.
when I was in high school, and I don't remember them, unfortunately. But I'm pretty sure, like, if I
Yeah,
was talking with the group
yeah,
and the
it's like,
conversation came
oh, I
up,
did that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, maybe
But
some things are better left to
left forgotten.
yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's move on to the post-tsunami part of the
Okay.
podcast, the real meat of the podcast.
Okay.
So what are you doing now, and like how did you get to that point?
Um, I am currently in the Philippines.
Uh-huh.
Um, going to a college, a university called Angeles University Foundation, and I am taking programming degree,
Mhm.
emphasis on video game designing.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
yeah, because I always like ever since high school, I always wanted to work with video games, especially when video games we started becoming like gaining traction and becoming more of a respectable field.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I've been constantly searching for a school that actually has a video game degree course or something. And so I went here to the Philippines, but I'm here with my family. And the biggest reason why I chose the Philippines to attend school was mainly because I wanted my mother to go back to school because she's always been talking about she wants to finish her nursing degree
Yeah.
and like finish her education, but she can't do it when we're all in America, because America is, especially in California, is just too expensive, and we
Yeah.
don't have the luxury of having a home that was already bought and like mortgage and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So we were constantly renting homes and being forced to move constantly. So it just felt like a better fit to just have everyone move to a cheaper country and get our
Yeah.
education and then come back home when
Yeah.
we're ready. So so that's why I'm here
Mhm.
currently. But before then, I was trying to join the military, and I made it up to boot camp. And unfortunately, I got separated due
Mhm.
to medical reasons.
Yeah.
But like that path leading up to it, I lost a bunch of weight. My senior year, during my whole like depression of losing my dad, I gained like a lot of weight. And even
Mhm.
though a lot of people that met me never saw it, I was almost 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And during that time, I was like, you know what? I need to lose this weight. I need to stop being this sluggish, like whatever. Like I
Mhm.
need to capture my like fix myself. And during that time, I went through surgery because I ended up having like a cyst, an ovarian
Mhm.
cyst. And then after I got that out, I um what do you call this? I was just like, you know what? Let me do this journey to like really get myself back to being fit and smaller
Mhm.
and whatever. So I joined like the transformation camp,
Yeah.
which I did with Chris and my mom.
Mhm.
Chris finished it, and now he's in the military, which
Mhm.
is cool. I'm so proud of him. Me and my mother didn't finish it because it's kind of a scam in a way. uh,
Wait,
pretty
how's
much,
it a scam? What?
because you're supposed to lose like 15 pounds in 6 weeks, 15 or
Yeah.
20 pounds in 6 weeks, and pretty much we my mother, Chris, and I, we all finished it the first round. And then pretty much what you do is that you drop in money when you first enroll, and then when you meet the goal, you get your money back.
Uh-huh.
So Chris did that and he got his money back. But for us, my mom and I, we were still technically over the BMI limit.
Mhm.
So they made us have to re-enroll. So even though we finished the goal, we
Yeah.
weren't at our healthy weight. So we were forced to kind of keep going. And then we didn't make it the
Yeah.
second time. And then therefore we didn't get our money back. But I mean, we still
Yeah.
learned a lot of healthy habits, but it still kind of like sucked that we were down $1,000 with me and my
Oh,
mom combined.
wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I guess it gives, like, a financial motivation to, like,
Yeah.
the whole, like, getting more fit kinda
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah,
Um
it did at
Mm.
first, but then, like, I started to plateau, and the stuff that they
Yeah.
were telling us to do wasn't quite working for me,
Yeah.
and then that's where and then I was getting my phlebotomy
Mhm.
license as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm, like, all over the place. Freaking Philippines, video games, phlebotomy.
Do you still have that license?
Yeah, I still have that license,
Oh,
so,
that's cool.
if you ever need your blood drawn, just call me.
That's pretty
Uh,
cool.
yeah, so I'm just, like, all over the place, but now
Mhm.
I'm here in the Philippines.
Mm.
And I'm also doing YouTube on the side because of COVID. So
Yes.
yeah, so now I've always wanted to do YouTube. I like
Mhm.
bought the equipment back in 2014, and I just
Mhm.
never did anything with it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but now that I'm here in the Philippines, which was another like good motivation for me, was
Yeah.
because I wouldn't have to be working. I would just have to be focusing on school,
Yeah, yeah.
and on my downtime, I was like, I could just work on my channel.
Yeah.
So now I have this channel called Zero Mugen, which I think is yeah, it's right here on the thing
Mhm.
on the web. But what was I saying?
You were
Yeah,
talking about your
YouTube
channel?
channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, my channel. It's just a video game channel, but
Mhm.
I was like originally like trying to hide my face, but I think after this video, I'm gonna start showing my face around just because I have a lot of family anyways, and they know me, and I
Yeah.
know I'm not gonna be able to hide my identity with a Filipino family, so
Yeah, yeah. I
so
think
I
it
might as well.
yeah, and
might as
then
well
I think it also adds, like, it makes, like, the video or the stream, like, more personal if you can
Mhm.
see, like, your reaction to whatever
Oh
you're
yeah,
playing.
yeah.
So, it's another, like, engagement point, I think,
Mhm.
that could add a lot of value. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Um When you went to boot camp, like, what branch of the military?
It was Navy,
Okay.
Navy branch. So
Yeah.
I was there for 2 months, 2.5.
Mhm.
Uh, like the week I was there, I was doing everything processing,
Yeah.
and then they found issues with my medical, and then they separated me,
Mm.
and and then I was stuck there for a very long time, and like I was in like a battalion of like 300 other like girls being
Oh,
separated,
dang.
like
Yeah,
close
yeah.
to almost like 400. Like it was crazy,
Yeah.
and it got to the point where um because I'm just so well disciplined
Mhm.
that the RDCs, which is like the people that watch over you and train you and stuff, but in my case, they just kind of watch over us, like babysit. Um, they chose me to be like the RPOC, recruit chief petty officer
Mhm.
of the whole entire battalion of women,
Yeah, yeah.
um, and which was pretty cool, but also very nerve wracking because it's just filled with a bunch of different people, and they're
Mhm.
all scared or angry because they got separated, or
Yeah.
all these different emotions. And of course
Mhm.
they're women, so women are filled with even more emotions, especially when it's that time of the month. So
Mhm.
it was just like it's just like dealing with that. It was like crazy, but I
Mhm.
managed to like work it out. And towards the end, right before I left, we went from like 350 girls to like 80 girls left
Oh,
in
dang.
separation. So it was actually really cool that I got to see like that transition and kind of had that experience to
Mhm.
deal with everything. That's my dog Shadow.
Oh, hi, Samuel.
Yeah, he's probably like, I'm hungry. He has like 30 more minutes before it's breakfast time.
Oh, yes. What is it, like,
Um,
almost 6 over there now?
it's 6:30.
6:30? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Um, but yeah, that's my little military taste. I want to go
Oh, okay.
back,
Mhm.
um, which is um, which is something that I could do after this. After going to school here, I could
Mhm.
try and apply for like officer position in the military, but I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna go that route,
Yeah.
especially if YouTube kicks off. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I left myself with a lot of different paths to take. It's just a matter of
Yeah, yeah,
choosing.
yeah.
So I don't
Yeah.
know. At this point, it's just like I don't know what path I'm gonna take. I'm just gonna let my life go
Mhm.
wherever it goes, and when it's time to choose, I'll choose.
Yeah. Were you in California, like, at the boot camp, or did you have to go somewhere else?
I had to go boot camp for the Navy is in Great Lakes, Illinois. Yeah,
Oh,
Great
okay.
Lakes, Illinois.
Illinois.
So I had to travel over there, which was pretty cool. Oh, I mean, but my time there, I did have to deal with all the different seasons. So like
Oh,
we had
yeah.
like it was kind of weird because all it was like springtime into summer, but it felt like I dealt with fall, winter, spring, and summer.
Yeah.
Like it was just like raining one time, then it was snowing, and then we saw like the cherry blossoms like bloom or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and we're like, it was just weird.
That's
I
pretty
was like,
cool. No, because
yeah,
like, since we live in Oxnard, there's not really, like, a variation in the seasons.
yeah,
It's like just comfortable, and then there's, like, a little less comfortable and a little bit more comfortable, like, that's about
yeah,
it.
yeah,
It might rain occasionally, but, there's no snow, or it doesn't rain, like, really heavy,
mhm,
during spring, that sort of thing, so, like, we don't really have any variation with our weather, but,
yeah,
if you go to the other parts of the country, totally different story, right?
yeah, yeah. I really, really enjoyed the snow during that
Yeah.
time.
Mhm. Hmm, interesting. Like, I remember, like, I went to Big Bear and I saw snow for the first time. I was like, "This is really cool."
Oh my god!
I was, like,
Speaking,
amazed.
I went to Big Bear once with my family,
Uh-huh,
and we went there when it wasn't gonna snow yet.
uh-huh,
So we like had a campsite, and then we realized it was getting really cold, and
uh-huh.
and then we started to see a little bit of snowflakes, and then we realized, oh crap, it's actually gonna snow,
Mhm,
and so we end up like looking, like checking to see if they had a cabin available, which we're so glad they did because
mhm.
it started to snow, and it's just like we would have been camping outside
Oh,
in the snow.
no. Were
So that
were you, like, decked out in all the, like, winter gear?
No, fun fact, that time I accidentally forgot all my clothing at home.
Oh, oof.
So so we had to go to, like, the nearby Kmart, and, like, I had
Mhm.
to buy, like, all new clothing.
Yeah.
Um, so that was pretty funny.
Dang, that kinda
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, my family won't let me go. Every time we go to, like, a venture now, like, some type of, like, resort or whatever, they're
Mhm.
like, "Hey, don't forget your bag, okay? Because 'Cause we're not gonna go to the store and buy you more clothes."
It's that reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like me with, toothbrushes and phone chargers. 'Cause I forgot those 2 things one time, and now I always tell myself, "Did you bring your phone charger and your toothbrush?" 'Cause I always
Yeah.
forget those 2 things.
Yeah, I always forget my phone everywhere. Now my
Oh,
family
yeah.
just takes my phone from me and they hold it.
Mhm. It's like a
I
little
just feel like a
strap.
child.
You're
I
gonna
need to get
get
one of those, like, chain wallet for my
yeah, yeah,
my
yeah.
phone though.
Or you could be like one of those dads with, like, the dad clip, like, for the phone.
I tried that once and my phone missed the clip, so
Oh,
it just
really?
fell on the ground.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
I fail as a dad.
Uh-huh. Did your phone survive?
Yeah, my phone survived, thankfully. I
Okay.
have the tempered glass. Ugh, always
Oh,
get
yeah,
tempered
yeah.
glass.
Oh, yes. Yeah, my phone is actually naked, but, in terms of the screen, but I bought one of those, like, bumper cases. It's not like a full case, but it's just,
Yeah.
like, the case that protects, like, just the edges, I guess. So
Mhm,
you can still see the front and the back of the phone. So if
mhm.
the phone, like, lands on, like, the corner, it's totally fine.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I actually have one, but it's like a full case though, but I have, like, a couple cases just like that,
yeah.
and it's like a life-saving thing,
Mhm.
except when it lands on a rock, then there's no saving it.
Oh, yeah. 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 But that's rarely gonna happen, I
Yeah.
think. Like, your phone just lands face flat on a rock.
Yeah. Unless you're in the Philippines where everything's a
Yeah.
rock.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I've never been to the Philippines, so I don't know how the climate is there.
Uh,
I've been to, like, Vietnam and Singapore and Malaysia,
oh, that's
um,
cool. I
but never been to the Philippines.
It's very humid and it's
Mhm.
like it's pretty near the equator, so it's very hot.
Fairly hot?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hot. And then we get like the tropical storms and stuff. Um,
Oh, yeah.
like a couple days ago, we actually dealt with like typhoons
Mhm.
and then sometimes we get earthquakes. And then earlier this year, one of the volcanoes erupted. So
Oh, shoot.
yeah, so it's just
Yeah.
like a lot of like everything that you could think of as a world disaster, the Philippines can hit it. Like
Dang.
so yeah, we can get tsunamis here, we can get the volcanoes
Yeah.
erupting and
Yeah.
earthquakes and all that stuff. So and then
Dang.
it's hot. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Are we talking, like 90 Fahrenheit, like 100 degrees Fahrenheit?
I
Like, how hot
think
are we talking?
I think normally it's about 85 to 90.
Okay.
Um
Yeah.
and then like and then it goes up to like 110 or
Oh,
something like
shoot.
yeah, and then it's just like dry sometimes.
Yeah.
And then most of the time it's humid, but sometimes dry. And in the winter time it goes down to like 75.
Okay, so
And
pretty comfortable.
yeah, and then if we're lucky it goes down to 67 or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, but at that
Dang.
time I'm just like I'm super happy when it's 75.
Mhm.
But
Oh,
my
yes.
whole my whole entire family though was like wearing sweaters at that time and I'm like, "Why are you
Yeah.
wearing a sweater?"
It's like it's so cold, we're so used to the heat. I think, we're so used to it, like, in Oxford, like, that sort of
Mhm.
weather.
Yeah.
Like, this
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah, I still need to. I've unfortunately with COVID because I was waiting for my mom to get here because I came here first
Mhm.
for like a good 9 months before my family came and followed me here, and all I had was California clothing,
Yeah.
and it was just
Oh,
hot.
rip.
And so yeah, I have like jeans and sweaters. That's all I have, and I was like waiting for like my mom to come to help
Mhm.
me get like clothing. But then COVID struck and like all the malls closed. So now
Oh,
I'm just stuck
no.
with more sweaters.
Oh,
All I
crap.
have is sweaters.
Mhm. Does it rain, like, every day there? Because when I was in Vietnam, it rains every day pretty much over there. It's like a hot, humid, like, rain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of the time, I want to say about 80% of the time it does rain.
Mhm.
Um, it's usually it's like daytime it's hot, and
Mhm.
then towards the evening it starts to show the storm clouds and
Yeah.
like it gets rainy. And then when it's really bad, the power cuts out. And then when the power
Oh,
cuts
yeah,
out, the
yeah.
water cuts out. So
Oh,
it's just
no,
like
it's just like a domino effect.
yeah. Yeah, it's just so bad. So like when you had like a hot day and you didn't catch the shower before the power went out, then you're
Oh,
just screwed.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel all gross and nasty, and it's
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tradition. Like my family's always just kind of like, well, we could just shower in the rain, so they'll just like run
Yeah,
around in the rain and just kind of
yeah, that's what a lot
rinse
of kids in
themselves.
that's what a lot of kids in Vietnam do, just they
Yeah,
just shower in the rain.
yeah,
'Cause it just happens so frequently, it's like, yeah,
hmm
whatever. And then
yeah.
over there, the power cuts out too, but it cuts out because they wanna conserve power, not because, the power just goes out.
Oh,
Um,
that's interesting.
yeah, because I think they have, like, a limited supply of, like, how much power they generate, and so there's, like, an allocated time at least, like, I guess in my grandparents' neighborhood where they
Hmm.
lived, um, they have, like, an allocated time where, like, there's no power for everyone, like, from, like, 2 to
Wow.
4, which is, like, the worst time. It's, like, probably, like, the hottest part of the
Yeah.
day. So, it's really cool the way the houses that are built over there, it's a lot of it's made out of concrete, and
Hmm.
there's no windows as in, like, there's no glass per se.
Mm.
Like, the windows are just, like, holes in the walls that lead to the outside pretty much. Like, there's no windows, there's no glass.
No,
Um,
I totally get what you're saying because we
yeah.
kind of have the same thing. Like it's like the cutout. It's like
Yeah.
concrete, and they cut out like the shape of like the window. And some
Yeah.
places they just do like the wooden,
The wind
like flat.
doors.
Yeah, the wooden
Yeah.
doors. My place they have like this metal gate, and then they do technically have like these glass doors,
Mhm.
for the windows. But other than that, it's like that's the closest to like glass. Um,
Yeah.
uh, where my mom is currently building a restaurant right next door, and like all our windows is just like this metal and wood. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have any glass or anything. It's just like yeah,
Mhm.
you can like stick your hand through it all the time if you
Oh, yeah,
want.
yeah. Yeah.
But that's how we're doing our restaurant.
I
It's
see.
just yeah, no proper like actual glass covering it.
Yeah,
So bugs can still technically come in.
is AC prominent, like, in the Philippines? Because I know in Vietnam, not really, because it's a poor country, I think. Like, my
Hmm.
dad I don't know if it was my dad, but he bought, my grandparents, like, a AC unit for one of their
Hmm.
rooms, and they installed it when I visited, like, 10 years ago. Actually, it's been over 10 years, it's been, like, 12 years.
Oh
Um
no.
but, yeah, he installed it, and then I remember, like, me and my siblings would always just always be in that room because it was always nice and cold. Um,
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Well, it's kind of like if you have an AC, you're kind of like rich.
yeah,
So
rich,
it's like,
yeah.
yeah, it's the same thing. When I would visit, it's the same situation. We had like a couple rooms that had AC, and then
Mhm,
they automatically gave us those rooms because of the hospitality.
yeah.
Um, so we were like always just kind of chilling in the AC
Mhm,
room. But then when I moved here, um, I didn't have an AC for a bit, so it was just a fan, but the
mhm,
fan never works very well. You're just dying still.
yeah,
And then I had then my mom bought me an AC. Like yeah, she bought me an AC, and then I moved to like a different. I moved to the house next door because our compound. I don't know if it's like that in Vietnam, but we have like a
mhm.
compound, and then we have like a bunch of houses within the compound.
Oh, I
Um,
see.
yeah, so like we have like four houses here, right next to each
Mhm,
other, within like 2 feet apart, and I just moved to one of the empty houses,
mhm.
and only one of like for the longest time, only my bedroom had like the AC, but the rest of the house would just be like freaking humid and hot.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I would always just kind of like stay in my room, but the moment I come outside, I'm like
Nope.
instantly, yeah, like I'm just like my skin's melting off.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was kinda me, like, last week because I went to go visit, um, my cousins in the Central Valley,
Mhm.
and Central Valley is pretty hot. Like like around 2 p.m. it'll hit like 100 degrees.
Mhm.
Um, so um, now that I'm back home in Oxnard, it's just like, all right, I gotta appreciate this weather. Like my AC is just me opening the window. It's
Yeah.
it's great. Like not everyone has that luxury, right?
Yeah, when I would go back and visit, like, Cali after being
Mhm.
here, it's just, like, I'm so, like, thankful I can roll down the windows and it's just
Yeah,
cool breeze. I
yeah,
roll down the windows here and it's just, like, hot air just
yeah.
hitting your face. You're
It's
just,
like,
like, rolling it back up. Oh, man.
dang.
Um, yeah, I find myself in the freezer a lot just to get the cold just get the cold air. But,
Dang.
yeah, that's my
Mhm.
Filipino life. Um
Interesting.
Mhm.
In the Philippines, like, what's one thing you notice that's way different from being in the US?
Uh One of the biggest things that I've noticed is the way they deal with garbage here,
Oh, yes.
um, because they don't have. I mean, I'm pretty sure they do have like some sort of like designated place to put trash, but for the most
Yeah.
part, you just throw it in a pile somewhere on the street, and everyone just kind of collectively is just like, okay, that's a trash
Oh,
pile,
that's a trash pile.
and then it's just kind of like it. Sometimes it gets so neglected that it overfills into like the walking area or even the street,
Oh, yeah.
and it's just like landfilled, and then
Is it like a
and
hole that someone, like, digs up, or is it, like,
no,
a pile?
it's just a pile. Like
Uh-huh.
I wish it would be a hole because then it'd be a little bit easier to burn because that's what
Yeah.
they also do here is that they burn the pile.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Same thing in Vietnam too. That was also one of the first things I noticed is just, like, the smell.
mhm.
Smells really bad
Yeah,
when you're burning trash. This is
yeah, it smells like the plastic and everything else that shouldn't
yeah,
be burned.
yeah, yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah. Another thing I've noticed is just the vehicles. I don't know if
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys have like these open Jeeps where
Uh-huh.
you could like the back is open, but it's kind of like a taxi or a bus,
Mhm.
but it's like a Jeep looking vehicle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In the Philippines they call it jeepney. I don't know what you guys call it if you do have it. But we have those, and we have like these tricycles, which is like a motorcycle with a sidecar.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
so we have those as well, um, which I can't fit in. It is not tall people friendly.
Oh, no. Oof.
But yeah, those are a few things I noticed, and then of course just how insanely cheap everything is. Like
Oh, yes.
what I loved about being here and like going to school and when I wanted to eat, because I that's another thing is just like the difference in culture. Like in America, we're used to always working excessively
Oh,
and
yeah.
never really having time to eat
Yeah.
um, all day. But here in the Philippines, they really make sure that you eat like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks in between.
Yeah.
And my classmates would always just kind of look at me weird when they're going out for lunch, and I'm just like, no, I'm good. I'm I'm just gonna stay here.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just the how cheap everything is. Like I can feed like my whole family, which is of three for like $15,
Oh,
and we're all
wow.
full. Like it's just like it's crazy
That's pretty good.
how different the prices. Yeah,
Yeah, the street food in Vietnam is, like, dirt cheap. We're talking, like a dollar
yeah,
for, like, really good quality food, like, fast food is having a hard time being competitive in Vietnam. Like, think
hmm
of McDonald's and KFC.
yeah,
They're having a hard time breaking into, like, the Vietnam economy because of the street food is so cheap and, like, so good. Like,
hmm
they just can't compete.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
totally get you because we have like our chains. Like we have the Chowking,
yeah,
Jollibee, McDonald's, KFC, that
yeah,
stuff. But then you also see like the street vendors
yeah,
there, and you just see people like it's usually like like the richer people that will go inside to these fast food
yeah, yeah, yeah.
restaurants, or it's
Mhm.
foreigners. You'll see the
Yeah,
foreigners
yeah,
go in
foreigners.
there, and then you see like the natives just at the street vendors,
The street vendors.
and
Yeah.
yeah. I love eating street food, but
Mhm.
because of just the different culture,
Yeah.
I can't touch certain things. Like I can't touch seafood here. It
Mhm.
just really screws me up for some reason. But
Oh, yeah.
but they have like fried calamari. and like it's really interesting that they really utilize everything here. Unlike America, I feel like America we're really good at scrapping stuff that could be edible. Like here in the Philippines, we're eating like chicken intestines and chicken heads and
Yeah.
the heart and all that stuff, and it's like that's not seen over there back at home. It's just
Yeah.
like it's like everybody gives you the crazy eye if they catch you eating like hearts and necks and
Yeah. What's like the craziest thing you've eaten
since I've been
over in the
here.
Philippines? Yeah. Like, is there any like have there been any hearts or like foots you've ate? Like, I don't know.
Before I even went to the Philippines, I used to eat like chicken adobo, but like with the
Yeah.
chicken feet. I can't eat that anymore because it's way too fatty. But I used to eat that, and then I've tried chicken butt, which is pretty good. I tried, I believe, chicken heart, which I like a lot. I've had chicken intestines. I've had frogs.
Yeah, like the frog legs?
Yeah,
Those
the frog and the
it's
whole frog
basically like
too.
chicken. Yeah,
Yeah,
the whole frog.
yeah, that dude. That's what I've been telling people. Is like it
Yeah.
tastes exactly like chicken. Like I
Yep.
know it's a phrase that most people say, but it tastes exactly like chicken.
Yep.
Like, oh my god. But what else have I tried? Mm, I can't really remember too much, but like because everything is like very native, I know a lot of the luxury meats in America are just very cheap here. Like I've had goat here.
Oh, yeah. Goat's kinda hard to come by here, for
Yeah,
sure.
so it's expensive in America, but over here in the Philippines, it's not that expensive.
Yeah.
So I've had goat and
A goat,
I
like, there's also, like, the whole pig, like, not just, like, a part of the pig,
oh
but, like,
yeah,
a whole pig.
yeah.
You know?
Do you guys fry it or not fry it, but do you guys roast it on the
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
yeah? We have it like lechon.
Mhm.
um, and then uh, yeah, I try to eat as many like new things. I've
Mhm.
had balut
Oh, balut?
before.
Oh, dude, I had it last week at my cousin's place. It's so good. It's exactly
Yeah,
as I remember it.
yeah,
It's really
yeah.
good.
For the first time, because for the longest time I never ate it when there's the duck inside of it. Like
Yeah.
I would give the duck to my grandpa and my mom,
Yeah.
but I've been trying to like get myself to be more open to trying out the new
Mhm.
things and stuff that
Yeah.
I was very scared to try. So I tried it, and I know it sounds gross, but like it melts in your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yep.
I was just like, oh, okay, like it wasn't even that scary
Mhm.
to eat. But
Do
I oh snap, I just picked my trigger. But yeah,
do you add, like, salt and, like, lemon to the balut?
I haven't tried it with lemon, but I do add the salt and I add
Yeah.
pepper. I add
Yeah, salt and
pepper.
pepper. Yeah.
And then sometimes I add like hot sauce because I'm American like that.
Yeah.
uh, One of the biggest culture shocks that I had to deal with here is when you buy fresh, like the animal fresh and
Oh,
alive, and
yeah.
then having to hear it die.
Uh-huh.
That's the part that I'm like, I can't do this because they do it
Yeah.
like early in the morning, like
Mhm.
butt naked in the morning, and I'm just like, I just blast my headphones on and I pretend.
Yeah. That's like that alone will make me turn, like, vegetarian, I think. Like, just hearing that, like, I don't want all these animals to, like, die and suffer, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I My mom was cooking catfish yesterday, and
Oh, catfish is good. Yeah.
the way that they kind of kill it is that they bash their heads.
Oh my god.
But I don't like. I'm just like, is there any other way to like kill them? Because obviously bashing their head doesn't. It's not like one blow done. It's like they
Yeah.
have to hit them a couple times, and I'm just like, I can't eat the fish. Like,
Yeah. It's like, yeah, if you're gonna, like, kill them, do it, you know, swift like,
yes,
do it swiftly at least? I
yeah.
don't know.
I was asking my mom, I was like, why don't you just use the blade side and just chop their head off?
Yeah.
Like just one and done. She's like, no, it's
Yeah.
not the same.
Yeah, we make, this, like, catfish like sort of soup. It's like a sour soup,
Mhm.
and you also add I don't know the exact ingredients. I think it's like tomatoes. They probably I don't know what's they not marinate, but like they make it like really sour. I don't know like what they use as like
I
a
know
base.
I know what you're talking about because we have the
Yeah,
same type of thing. It's called sinigang for us. I don't know
yeah,
what you guys call it, but
yeah,
it's like a sour soup.
yeah.
And I believe for us the base is tamarind.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think tamarind's probably in there. Probably in there.
so I mean the cultures are pretty close tied to each other. So I feel
Yeah.
like our cultures have the same type of food.
Mhm.
Um, except you guys have like the broken rice type of thing, and we
Oh
just
yeah,
have
we have a lot of different like rice, like
yeah,
noodle
Filipinos.
types.
Filipinos are just like rice is rice. We don't do
Yeah,
anything special with
yeah.
it.
And then there's like those steamed like dumplings, or not dumplings.
Mhm.
It's like a packaged like bun, and there's like stuff inside. I think in the Philippines you call it siopao.
Yeah,
Um,
shopao.
we call it bang bao, which is like very similar, very similar name. But it's basically the same thing. I think it originated
Mhm.
in China.
Yeah,
Um, but and I think we have like our different variations in it. Like it can have like pork and like the yolk of an egg.
yeah.
But it's already like boiled.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, stuff like that. That's pretty
Mhm.
good. Have you had duck before? Because I've had duck a few times, and it's really greasy. Like it's really good, but it's just really greasy. I'm not really sure why. I think it's just
I think it depends on how you prepare it. Over here,
yeah.
they grill it, so it's not
Oh,
greasy
okay.
at all. But it
Oh,
does,
interesting.
but it did get like really dry. I'm not sure if
Mhm,
like it's just not marinated enough. But my uncle grilled it, and
mhm.
some of the parts were really juicy,
Yeah,
but like the leg and the wings were very like dry, and you can barely touch it.
yeah.
Like you can barely eat it. But yeah, I've had duck before. I mean, I had it a lot back at home. At
Mhm.
the Chinese restaurants, you would get
Yeah, yeah,
like the
yeah.
half roasted duck or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. It is like very greasy when they
It's
make
really
it.
yeah, I think it's because they roast it, like, they don't grill it, I think. I think it's a roast.
Hmm.
And I guess that just keeps all the fat in or something. I don't know, like,
Yeah.
every time I have duck, it's always really, like, really greasy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta dap it with the napkin.
Yep, yep. But, yeah, it has a very distinct, taste, I would say.
Yeah.
It's, like, a little sweet. I'd say it has, like, the texture of pork, but different taste. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's like weirdly gammy, kind of like you said it right. Like it has like the
Yeah,
texture of pork, but it's a bird, so you kind of
yeah,
expecting like a chicken texture, but
yeah,
you're not getting it. And then of course
yeah,
it's just weird. Um,
yeah,
but
it's kinda
I'm
sweet.
fond of it though.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really good.
we're
Yeah, it's pretty
gonna
good.
make me
Yeah.
hungry.
It's like, "Oh, it's almost breakfast for you."
uh,
Um,
duck.
I'm eating my own kind.
um,
Let's see, what other foods? What other crazy foods? Oh, the big thing in Vietnam is, like, my dad told me, like, "Hey, if you ever have ice, like, don't eat the ice because water is not, like, 100% guaranteed to be clean over there."
you
Um,
know, yeah, they told me the same exact thing. They told me like just drink bottled water. Don't
yeah,
drink the mineral water, even though it's mineral water that they're getting from like the filtered
yeah,
whatever. Like they're like, don't drink that. Don't drink the ice.
yeah,
Just drink the bottled water. But
yeah,
like when I was living here, like when I started to live here, and they were still telling me that, I'm like, I can't just be consuming bottled water. Like I need to learn to adjust my body. So now,
yeah,
like, but it's not even that bad. Like I think my first couple years when I would visit, starting back in 2012, and we would come back every 2 years. Um, the first couple times, yeah, I did kind of like have the runs after drinking
oh,
water.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But since then, since it's been about eight 8 years since I've first visited, I'm completely fine with the water here.
Mhm.
So it's really just the adaptability. So as long as you have the medicine for it to help you with
Oh,
the
yeah.
runs, like just drink it. Just
Yeah.
get your body used to it. Especially if you plan on visiting constantly or even living there. Just get your body
Mhm.
used to it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, when I visited Vietnam 12 years ago, I was the only sibling that didn't get the, like, shot to help you not get sick because of the black stock promotion.
Mm,
Because all my siblings were doing it during that time, and I had to do the black stock promotion, day thing.
mhm.
So when I got there, I got, like, super sick. Like,
Yeah.
I literally couldn't move, like, type of deal.
Yeah.
Just because my body wasn't used to the environment. It was completely
Mhm.
different. Like, all the foods, wasn't used to it. My siblings were fine, they were cool, but I was, like, dying.
Yeah, 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 that was completely my first time too. Like after
Yeah.
I remember we went to like this resort and they were like, "Oh, the food's good or whatever." Almost like after a couple bites, I was just in the bathroom the whole entire
Yeah.
time. It was just like the worst ever. And they always felt super bad and I felt bad because they felt bad. I
Mhm.
was just like I had to like stick with like eating like the fast food joints, like
Oh, yeah,
fast
yeah.
food chains. So I like my first year it was like mostly Pizza Hut
Mhm,
and KFC and stuff like that. And
mhm.
then my second year going back, I finally was able to kind of eat some of the restaurant food,
Yeah.
but some of it still kind of hit me wrong. And then now I'm at the point where it's just seafood that really just f's me up. I don't
Mm,
know why,
yeah.
but
Yeah, I think it's just seafood in general too,
mhm.
because I think a lot of people are afraid of the mercury, and that's why a lot of people here in the States, like, I don't think, like, seafood is, like, the first thing they think of when they think of
Yeah,
food, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, how's, like, groceries in the
Uh,
Philippines, like, compared to the US? Like, is there a big difference? Besides, like,
they're
I guess the animal stuff.
the animals or whatever. The meat like is fairly give or take. Like they measure by kilo here, so
Yeah,
and if you're not familiar with that, that's 2 pounds roughly.
yeah.
Um, so it's pretty cheap in the sense like I can get like a kilo of lemons for only
Mhm.
like $1.
Uh-huh.
And then
That's
in
pretty good.
America, yeah, in America, it's like you get 2 pounds of lemons, you're already paying like $3 to $4,
Yep.
depending on where you're at. So we mostly go to the markets because the grocery store is just like it's the same. Like if you go to a swap meet in America, it's usually cheaper than going to a grocery store.
Yep.
So it's the same thing. If you go to a market, then it's a little bit cheaper most
Mhm.
of the time
Yeah.
than going to the one of the
Mhm.
grocery stores. Um, the only thing is that because I want to not only make Filipino food, I want to make other food that is a little bit of home.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really hard for me to get the ingredients that I need
Yeah.
because of how humid and hot it is here. A lot of the vegetables wilt, like especially if they're not
Oh, yeah.
native to this country, they wilt and they die easily, and
Mhm.
and then they get bad. Like like the other day we bought lettuce and at the market even it's already like starting to wilt and it's not
Yeah.
crunchy like it is back at home. So it's just kind of like we have to use it almost immediately, so it's almost like you have to constantly think like, am I going to use this now or am I going to use
Mhm.
it later? If you're going to use it later, it's better to just buy it the day you plan on using it than just preparing to for the future.
Mhm.
So that's one of the hardest things with being here is that everything you have to plan, you have to think about when you're going to use it. Otherwise, it's just going to go bad.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
because like, over here, you can just buy stuff and then just kinda throw it in the fridge
yeah,
and call it a day. You can kinda forget
yeah,
about it, I guess, depending on what you buy.
hmm
Um, yeah, that's not really something we think about here
yeah,
in the United
yeah,
States.
yeah. I kind of like we're kind of spoiled in that sense.
Yeah.
Because yeah, now I like because I used to, especially when I was living by myself, I would be like, well, I don't want to keep going to the store every day. I don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna buy stuff
Buy stuff in
and
bulk.
like yeah, buy stuff in bulk. And most of the time, half my vegetables will just get bad before I could even touch it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, and it was just a waste of money. And I
Yeah.
had to learn to just kind of be
Mhm.
like, either get something that's like a fast food or you have to meal prep
Yep.
right then and there. And so that's
Mhm.
what I started learning to do, was start to meal prep
Mhm.
a lot, which was so hard. I hate meal prepping.
Yeah, because 'cause you're basically cooking, like, 7 meals,
Yeah.
essentially. But then you don't
Yeah,
have to
it
cook for
takes up
7
the whole
days.
day. Yeah, that's true, that's
Yeah.
true. I don't have to,
Yeah.
unless I'm a fat ass.
Yeah. It's like, "I'm still hungry, I'm gonna eat tomorrow's meal," even though it's already been rationed.
Yeah. Yeah, I just have to look
Yeah.
in the freaking fridge and just be like, "Don't eat it. Don't eat
Mhm.
it. Find a snack. I don't have any more snacks."
Oh, no. And, are the markets or the grocery stores, like, fairly close by? Because I know here in the US, like, everything's pretty spread apart, so that's the reason why you kinda have to buy things in bulk is because those trips take so long. Like, going to Costco, that's, like, minimum 2 hours of your day, like,
Yeah,
just gone,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. We actually have a fake Costco here. It's
Oh,
called
really?
S&R. Yeah, and they
Uh-huh.
have a bunch of Kirkland brands and stuff,
Oh,
like
interesting.
stuff from America. Yeah, but it's super expensive. It's just like whatever you
Mhm.
see at Kirkland or Costco, it'll be like $5 over here because of the shipment and stuff. It'll be like
Oh,
$10.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you're just like, do I really want it? No. But for markets, like the local markets, we have one across the street from us.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
sometimes we go over there, but at the times it doesn't have good meat or like good
Yeah.
resources. So sometimes we have to drive like a few towns over.
Mhm.
I would want to say it's like the equivalent of like us driving all the way to like Newberry Park
Oh, I see.
from Oxnard. So it's
Yeah,
like,
like 15, 20 minutes-ish.
yeah. Um, but for gross, because where I live, it's kind of like it's kind of like the Ojai of
Oh, okay. So
so
it's, like, kinda secluded.
yeah, so
Um
so there's not a lot of like major stores to go to.
Mhm.
So for like major grocery stores, for I can get like more uh was it non-perishable ingredients
Yeah.
or like canned goods and stuff, we would have to drive a little bit further away. And especially with like the lockdowns and stuff, it's
Oh,
really
yeah.
hard because sometimes they'll block off the area to get to that grocery store. So
Mhm,
sometimes we're just stuck with just like what we can get at the market.
mhm.
And most of the time it's just like my family, almost every dinner night is just sardines and some type of green vegetable. Like that's all it is. It's just kind of like that repetitiveness.
Mhm.
Um, but if there isn't COVID, yeah, it's not super bad. It's about like 40 minute, depending on traffic. It's 40 minutes to an hour to get to like the nearest grocery store, and then the market is just open
Yeah.
every day except for Saturday and Sunday, I think.
Mhm.
Um, and it's just like early morning across the
Yeah.
street. Just go over there. So yeah,
Interesting. Are things fairly close by in the Philippines? Because it's a smaller country, right?
yeah. It's like I said, because we live like in a place that's almost like Ojai and it's
Yeah.
secluded. We don't have a lot at
Mhm.
the moment. They are building a lot of places, but because COVID, it's slowing down the
Yeah,
building process.
right.
But like I think they're in the middle of changing our town into a more uh, welcoming location.
Mhm.
Like they're building a casino like
Oh,
nearby.
interesting. Is that
Like yeah,
is that
like
legal over there? Like
yeah. Well, it's kind of weird. I'm not gonna get into the Filipino politics, but pretty
Yeah.
much like the president is like working deals with China,
Mhm.
and some of the China companies are like building businesses here,
Yeah, yeah.
and so the casino that's being built is a Chinese owned casino. So they're building that right now, and it's like
Mhm.
in the works.
Mhm.
And supposedly it's like to get more people to come in. So we don't really know how it's gonna change the population or like the way things run here.
Yeah. Just like the
But
economy in general, the local economy.
yeah, but yeah, mostly it's just street food and like
Mhm.
snacks that are available. Really, I mean, there's a 7-Eleven that's across the street from me, so I can
Yeah.
get like simple like drinks and stuff.
Mhm.
But if I want like more stuff for making good hearty meals, I would have to drive uh, a while away.
Oh, interesting. And, like, how are the road conditions in the Philippines? Is it like driving here? Or is it like just dirt and
It depends on
gravel?
where you it depends on where you go. Like the
Yeah.
farmlands, of course, is dirt and it's
Yeah.
mud and potholes, and
Mhm.
you're afraid of like getting stuck in the mud a lot.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
Most of the time, it's just like sometimes it's the asphalt that we have in America,
Mhm.
but sometimes they do like the concrete version where it's just like concrete road, and that breaks apart very easily,
Mhm.
and it wears and tears. So it's almost like 365 days a year, like the roads are always under construction. Like
Oh, yeah.
there's a road right now that's like they're rebuilding like the whole entire thing, and it's already been like since the start of COVID
Mhm.
that they've been working on it, and it's just like they're almost done. So I can
Mhm.
see it being done in like the next 2 months, but who knows when they need to go back and fix it again.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our road conditions. It's pretty bad.
Hmm.
But I mean, the traffic's worse because
Oh,
over here,
no.
they don't have like rules and regulations too much.
Yeah.
Unlike America, America we have the straight line and you can't really cut people off legally, um, all that stuff. But here it's just like free reign. Even though there is
Yeah.
like a line that you need to go to, like there's the motorcyclists and the tricycle drivers that
Mhm.
will just kind of cut through and cut you off, and then the jeepney drivers will try to cut you off. So then it just builds up this massive cluster F of like of just cars.
Yeah.
And then like I find myself just GTA driving the whole entire time. If I
You're just running
like
people over, like,
yeah,
bikes. You're, like,
yeah,
running into some restaurants, like
yeah, I have the Filipino police just following me all the time,
yeah.
3 cars constantly. Yeah, I always find myself just kind of like just like going on the other side of the road to just cut people up.
Mhm.
I don't want to say I'm cutting them off, but I'm just like going around them because there are a lot of people that are very hesitant and slow
Mhm.
to drive, and then therefore everybody else is cutting them, and then that's just increasing the traffic behind if you are deciding to just kind of like follow
Mhm.
the flow. So a lot of the times I just kind of like I just follow the bad people, I guess,
Mm.
because like where my school is far away. Like it takes me even when I leave like super early, it takes me about almost an hour to get
Okay.
to my school, and then when there's traffic, it takes me about 2 hours to get back home.
Oh, shoot.
So yeah, so and it's not even that far.
Uh-huh.
It's just like a couple cities over, but
Mhm.
that's how bad and like very claustrophobic the streets are when there's a lot of traffic.
Oh, dang. Dang, how's, like, the school, like, academics in, like, the Philippines? I don't know, I have a lot of questions about just other countries. Very
No, no,
curious.
it's fine. I think it's all right. It's very different. It's very like academy like.
Mm,
Um,
mhm.
you sign up for your course, and then they give you what courses you need to take. Um, and that's it. So you just pay the tuition, and then you have a course. Unlike most schools here in America, where you can choose like virtually what type of course you want to take. Of course, there's like some that you really need to take, and it's like restricted towards your degree. But like there's a
Yeah.
few that you have like a leniency to.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like all my electives and stuff are chosen for me. Um, so I don't even have that type of freedom.
Yeah.
Um, and then I wear uniform, so I have like a skirt
Mhm.
and like a long sleeve to wear and a tie, and then we have like these name or these badges that we
Mhm.
have to wear and scan our names in. Um, uh, our entrance exam was a fluke. It doesn't mean anything.
Uh-huh.
Like, I think it's really just there for like formality, but like other than that, it
Mhm.
doesn't mean anything. Um,
Yeah.
and like it's just like any other school. Like some teachers are good, some teachers are bad. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah.
Uh, it's just very hard because a lot of these kids that I'm in class with are younger than me, like
Yeah,
significantly.
yeah.
Like I'm 24 going on 25, and I think the youngest that I had in my class was
Mhm.
17.
Yeah.
And then the oldest out of the kids was probably going on 21.
Mhm.
And then there's just that mentality that they're just out of high school into college. So it's just like, and I've already been years out of high school and I've
Yeah.
matured and been through so much. So it's really hard because they still have that timidness and
Mhm.
that childish. It feels like another situation of like Drumline and and marching band, where
Yeah.
it's like I don't want to be too strict with them because I know where they're coming from. They're just
Mhm.
kids and they're just out of high school and they need to be kids. Um, but there are times where I'm kind of like the big sister, like the ate, where
Yeah.
I have to kind of keep them straight and like put them back in their
Yeah.
place
Mhm.
because in over here in the Philippines, a lot of our assignments are group assignments.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah, and no matter how much I beg them to
Uh-huh.
like separate me because obviously I'm in a way too advanced for them. So it's like I don't think it's fair that if someone's grouped up with me, they're like almost guaranteed a passing score.
Mhm.
So, but they're just like, no, just learn to like mingle with your mingle with your classmates. Don't be
Yeah.
scared. I'm like, I'm not scared. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm too advanced.
Yeah, I'm too good for them. The
But
hard carry.
yeah, so like I have to kind of put them straight
Mhm.
because I'm just like I'm not gonna get an F because you guys don't want to put in the work, so you're
Right.
gonna put in the work.
Mhm.
Um, so it's a lot of me like having to educate them a lot as
Mhm.
well, but I'm trying to keep an open mind and remember that I'm
Mhm.
not back at home in America and that
Right.
I'm still like learning and adapting to like how things work here. But other than that, it's pretty cool, and I'm learning the language a little bit more.
Yeah.
For the most part, I can understand what people are saying to me, but I just can't respond back in the native language.
Yeah. I get you
But
with that.
yeah, but yeah, that's the Filipino school lifestyle
Mm.
that
Yeah.
I'm working with.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned, the language because that's what I was gonna ask next. Is there, like, a big language barrier? Because I know in some countries, like, English is, like, a requirement, like,
Mhm,
like, elementary, junior high years.
mhm,
So, pretty much everyone there, like, I don't know, let's say we go to, like, Germany, right? Like,
mhm.
everyone understands, like, English.
Yeah.
I think at least at elementary level.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering if it's like that in the Philippines or not.
It is, and it's kind of frustrating and weird because even my mom's kind of confused about it
Mhm.
because like you said, like from elementary to high school, even
Mhm.
like you're learning English.
Yeah.
Yet, and then my school is very like they advertise that they're foreigner friendly, so a
Mhm.
lot of their teachings is in English to cater to the all the foreigners and just
Yeah.
have that universal language. So, but a lot of my classmates are struggling to even understand what I'm saying, and
Mhm.
and like and like it's very frustrating. And even the teachers will kind of call them out and be like, "You should know English by now, and you have an English speaking classmate, so you should respect them for like so that they can understand what you're saying." Most of the time, because I don't want the attention on me, I'll just say it's fine. I understand the gist of what they're saying, but like uh, it is kind of like frustrating for my mom to hear that there's these kids that grew up their whole entire life learning somewhat of the language
Mhm.
and they still haven't gotten the basics of it because
Yeah.
it's kind of because it's really weird because there's us in high school where we'll learn Spanish or French or
Yeah.
any other language, and some people do it for all 4 years,
Mhm.
and they can like almost like if anything speak fluently, um, and have conversations. So it's really interesting to have people that are learning it for their whole entire school life, and then they still don't grasp it enough. So
Yeah.
that's the part I'm trying to like really understand and learn. Like, where is that coming from? Like, why is it so different here, where they had their whole entire school life or school career learning a language versus like in America where you have some kids that are bilingual because they are learning not only their native language, but the English language, and they're still able to speak both languages fluently and understand them fluently. And then, like I said, there's like the high school kids that will do 4 years of learning a language, and and then they got it. So it's really like I'm trying to like really understand like where is it coming from? Is it like language? Is it laziness within the students, or is it just because they can't practice it at home because their parents speak, their native language and they're not practicing it at home? Like it's weird because I do know a lot of my classmates watch a lot of English speaking creators on YouTube or on or movies, and it's just weird. It's just very interesting.
Yeah, I think it's probably like maybe a little bit of everything, like all the things that you mentioned. Because even if you learn something in like an academic setting, you also have to use it in like a colloquial sort of like everyday life kind of setting too. Like you have to use what you learn, but in a more casual way, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure like every language has like things you have to say if you want to be like super formal, right?
Yeah.
But the informality is like a big part of like learning a language and like having it stick. So that's probably my guess. Yeah. And then for me, like personally, like I never like took like I did take like some like Vietnamese language classes, but it was like pretty elementary and I don't remember that much. But because my parents are Vietnamese, like I'm around it like quite a fair bit, but I never got to practice it because I just don't feel comfortable speaking it. Like I don't have a lot of actually I don't have like any Vietnamese friends,
Yeah.
Oxnard, like it's majority like Filipino and like Hispanic. Like
yeah. And then if they're Filipino or Hispanic, they're just speaking English most of the time anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So I never got to flex that muscle, that like that language muscle. But I could still understand like at a very elementary level, like what you're saying. It's just like sometimes I have a hard time like speaking it because like you might know a word, but you can't think of it when you're trying to talk.
Yeah, I'm literally like an elementary like kid like
Mm-hmm.
in this house right now because I'll just say like small things. It's a little bit easier with Philippines with the Tagalog.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it is with Vietnamese, but like because the history of the Philippines is that they
Yeah.
got conquered by the Spaniards,
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of their language is kind of like correlates with Spanish.
Yeah.
And so like being from Oxnard and hearing Spanish speaking, and then also like my own family and their conversations and hearing that, it's just like a lot of the terms I already know. So it's a little bit like I have that kind of going for me. So I think that's why I'm picking things up a little bit faster, is because I have a little bit of like some of their number systems is just the same number system as Spanish, and like some of their words are just like are in the Spanish dictionary, and then of course there's a couple that are in the same dictionary but they have different meanings, like puto and some other things.
Yeah. And then like is there a big I don't know what you call it, but in Vietnamese there's a very like strict social hierarchy. Like in Vietnamese there's a word for I, like referring to yourself, but when you speak you have to speak in the context of like you as a third person in respect of someone else. Does that make sense? So like if I'm speaking to like my dad, I have to call myself basically like son, like in third person, essentially. But if I'm talking to my brother, I'm gonna completely different context, completely different relationship. So I'm gonna refer to myself as a different like pronoun. So like in Vietnamese culture, pronouns are like a big thing. They're huge. Like if you there are so many pronouns, like there's the pronoun for like your mom's younger sister or your dad's. It's very specific. So like when you refer to them, like you basically know like the context of like the relationship between the two people. So I don't know if it's like that in like Tagalog or not.
No, I think it's a little bit more like the Japanese way, which is
Mhm.
like, like they have sensei and
Yeah.
senpai and stuff. So it's the same thing here. Like if it's an elder, or like respectability, you say po, at the end. And if you're speaking to an older person,
Mhm.
but they're not necessarily like seniority, then you just call them kuya or ate,
Yeah.
regardless of where, like if they're actually related to you or not. And the
Right.
same with like saying like tito and tita. Like most of the time, you're just saying it just to say it. Like
Mm.
sorry.
Okay. I like that.
That's ramen. He's hungry. But yeah, I don't think. I mean, I can confirm with my mom, but I don't think we have like something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's very like it's a pretty big thing, like Vietnamese culture, like the pronouns. For sure. Yeah. It's crazy. Because in English, there's not really that structure. Like when you refer to yourself, it's always like I or myself or something like that. And it
Hmm.
never really changes depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah,
I mean, there's like Mrs. and ma'am, if you want to be like very formal.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, Vietnamese is a completely different beast. For sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. We're not
Yeah.
restricted in that
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of funny because like sometimes like my dad will like slip up and he'll use the wrong pronoun and like he'll like call one of his friends like aunt or something. It's like really funny. It's like something you don't really understand unless you know that pronoun like structure
Mhm.
Vietnamese.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My mom only screws up English pronouns when she's like really like into the conversation though.
Yeah.
She'll like be like he, she, he what he. I was
Yeah.
like, it's okay, mom, just slowly
Mhm.
start.
Let's see. Do I have any other questions about the Philippines? Uh
Oh, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, is the currency like massively different? Because to us, every peso is like, or every 50 pesos is to a dollar. So,
Oh, I
like,
see. Oh, yeah, huge difference. In in Vietnam, it's like $20,000 is $1 US.
oh wow,
Yeah, it's a really big difference. So when you're talking about like big purchases, like a house or like a car, you're talking about like millions or billions of dollars in Vietnamese currency. Um, yeah, yeah, there's a big difference. I don't know about it too much because it fluctuates
mm-hmm,
um kind of often compared to the US currency.
mm-hmm,
Um but yeah, I was actually helping my dad send money over to his my dad's dad, my grandpa, on the dad side, and my dad wanted to send him $500, and we were sending it through Western Union, and I asked my dad like, "Hey, do you want me to send this as USD or the Vietnamese dong?" And he's like, "Send it as a USD because the US dollar is like way more valuable, I guess, just around the world."
yeah,
Um, but I didn't know that, and so I was like, "Oh yeah, of course, just do it in Vietnamese dong, it's fine." Like,
yeah,
because they were asking like what currency to send it in, but it's
yeah,
like, "No, you should do it in USD because I guess it's more stable." Uh,
mm-hmm.
but yeah,
Yeah,
it's a big difference.
yeah. My mom has like kind of the same format, but a little bit opposite. Like buying stuff here.
Mhm.
Like if we're playing with if we're paying with our credit card, um, they'll ask you, do you want it in Filipino currency or USD currency?
Uh-huh.
And my mom said, always do Filipino because um, they'll if they convert it back to USD, it might bump up the price because of the round.
Oh, yeah.
So she said, like, always leave it as the native
Yeah.
currency.
Mhm.
So, and that I never knew. I mean, I always did it anyways because it was just easier for me. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was just kind of like a tip for you if you're ever going to the Philippines.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Huh, interesting. So, like, do people mainly still use cash over there, or is it like debit cards, credit cards?
No, debit cards and credit cards are very like limited to like special places, like the
Yeah.
malls, like the convenience stores or the grocery store in the mall has it, but not every store in the mall
Mhm.
has a working credit card
Yeah.
reader or whatever you call it.
Mhm.
Um, uh, but most of the time it's cash. Like you
Oh,
have to
okay.
like really ask, like, do you accept card? And they'll be like yes or no. And then sometimes even when they say yes,
Mhm.
their internet might be down. So then they'll be like, no,
Oh, yeah.
our card reader's down, so we have to use cash now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's gotten me in trouble a couple of times because
Mhm.
um, I don't like to carry cash because I'm very
Right.
clumsy with money, and I'm the type of person where even if I have a wallet, I'll leave my money in my pocket. So, and that's an easy way to lose your money.
Mhm.
So, like I always have my card with me because that's just easier. And yeah, like sometimes I run into situations where
Mhm.
their card reader just isn't working, and then I'm just kind of
Yeah.
like I have to wait for my family to drive over and give me money, and it's so
Mhm.
embarrassing because like you already paid for your food or you already paid for something, or you already got something and you're ready to pay for it,
Yeah.
and there's nothing for you to give, and you
Mhm.
just look like a Dumbo.
Oh, no.
So always keep cash around.
Yeah.
That's like the
Yeah. I
goal.
always I always found, like, hearing other countries, like, I don't know, like, how they carry out transactions. Because like, here in the US, we know it's, like, majority cards, like, either debit or credit cards, sometimes cash, some people still pay in cash.
Yeah.
I think, like, using, like, apps as a form of payment starting to catch on, like,
Mhm,
Apple Pay and all that stuff.
mhm.
But I hear about other countries like China where it's, like, essentially like a cashless society over there, like, everyone uses their phone,
Oh,
like, as a
wow.
wallet. Yeah, they, like, when you're buying something from the store, basically, your phone generates, like, a QR code, and all
Mhm.
they have to do is scan the QR code, and the transaction's done. Like, you don't need to carry any cash, no cards or anything. It's, like,
Wow.
super,
The
like,
future.
futuristic. Like, the phone is so, um, like it's used a lot more. It's more, like, tied to you as a person, I feel like, over
Mhm,
there, 'cause, 'cause it's, like, your wallet as
mhm.
well.
That's
Um
kinda scary, though. It's like your whole
Yeah,
entire life and savings and all that stuff is just tied to a phone.
yeah. So, I don't know, there's some, like, pros and cons with, like, tying everything to your phone, right? It's super convenient, but,
Mhm.
like, if you lose it, you're screwed. Basically. Um, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, like, the credit cards and the debit cards are cool, and I like that they're separate from the phones.
Mhm.
Um, and maybe I'd like to keep it that way. I don't know, but the QR code sounds really cool. Like, the fact that I don't need to bring my wallet, basically, that sounds pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that part sounds cool, but then when you lose everything, you lose
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, because you
'Cause
put all your eggs in one basket, basically.
yeah, 'cause I had one of those phone cases where you can put cards in the phone cases,
Yeah, my mom has
and
it.
then I end up losing my phone at an airport.
Yep.
So and then I had to deal the whole, file file lost money and, like, all that stuff, and then make sure
Mhm.
kinda track my Social Security and make sure that that's okay. Like, it's just, like,
Yeah,
more frustrating having to trying to cheat your way and have everything in one place.
yeah.
It is to
Mhm.
just kinda keep them separate.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring it back because 'cause we're getting a little bit off tangent.
Okay.
With I don't know, like, just talking about other countries is super, super fun because 'cause I'm always just
Yeah.
curious. Because
Mhm.
I think living here, I think sometimes we don't realize that people live differently in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to like see how other people, live life.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Even in our own country.
Yeah,
Like,
even with our own country. Yeah.
yeah, because like California lives way differently than people in North Carolina
Oh
and
yeah.
New York
Mhm.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
pays to
Patty.
go out.
Yeah, but Patty and I talked a little bit about Florida
Yeah.
last time. Um, but yeah, just taking it back to band. um, is there anything like that you would tell yourself or like the current bandies um in band?
Um, I've been trying to figure out how to phrase this correctly,
Mhm,
but it's something along the lines of if someone's telling you you can't do something,
mhm.
look for someone else that will like guide you where you need to go. Like if it's a dream
Yeah.
or if it's like a goal that you have in mind, and if you're running into people that keep telling you no or that you can't
Mhm.
do it or that you won't have access to this, like find someone else that will help you because they're guaranteed like
Right.
there's like a thing that I would always say to my drumline members when I was captain is that if there's a will there's a way.
Mhm,
And because as I've been growing up and meeting a lot of different people, like
mhm.
especially people in Ventura County, like my last girlfriend, uh, she didn't know how FAFSA worked. Like she didn't know that she can get FAFSA. Unlike in CI, they
Mhm.
have that workshop and then they really try to um, educate you that you
Yeah.
can get access to FAFSA. I think it's just because we're kind of the underdogs. We're kind of looked frowned upon because we're in Oxnard. And she's from
Yeah.
Buena High and Ventura County
Mhm.
and all that stuff, or Ventura
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
So uh, and she like didn't know that she can get FAFSA this whole time, or at least she's supposed
Mhm.
to get like the first year, like kind of given to her, and
Yeah.
and because all it took was just one person to just say like you
Mhm.
can't get it, and I'm just kind of like no, you can if you just tried, but you stopped because of
Mhm.
that one person, and I've met so many other people that just stopped what they were doing because
Mhm.
one person said they couldn't do it. So
Damn,
um,
that sucks.
yeah,
Like, it
it
just
does
it just
suck.
takes one naysayer to, like, really bring you down, you
Yeah.
know? It sucks.
And so that's my advice to like myself and like other like future and current bandies is like if you have something goal in mind or like something that should be access to you and everyone else is getting it and you're just like why am I not getting it, then figure out why and don't just stick with just that one person
Yeah.
or that or even that few people that said that no you can't get it. Like
Mhm.
there's probably something there for you and you just have
Yeah.
to find it. It might you have to probably take a couple more steps than your friends or somebody else next to you, but I guarantee you can probably achieve the same place
Mhm.
that everyone else is getting because there's a lot of things that I didn't think I was going to have access to, but all it
Mhm.
took was me to just try, and I found that one person that was like, "Oh yeah, I can help you with that,"
Mhm.
and I was able
Yeah.
to achieve certain things.
Yeah.
So it just takes that leap of faith, really,
Mhm.
and don't let that one or two or even three people like stop
Yeah.
you from taking that leap. So that's what I would say.
Oh, okay,
that's
that's
my,
some good
that's my
advice.
advice.
Yeah, that's some good advice. Yeah, you definitely wanna surround yourself with, yay sayers, like the
Yeah.
opposite naysayers. Like
Yeah.
like yeah, like people that will support you and
Mhm.
that will, that will have your back,
Yep.
with whatever you're trying to do.
Mhm.
Um, Because the naysayers, like, it's really easy to bring someone down,
Mhm.
unfortunately. But to build someone back up, it takes, like, a lot more effort than to
Mhm.
say no or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so cool. No, I like that advice.
Yeah, I'm glad I said it correctly.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm sure there's, like, some catchy, like, phrase, and you can
Yeah.
rapidly package that together.
Yeah, because
Um,
my original way of saying it was like, just because someone said no, just look for someone that will say yes. And then my sister was like,
I'm
my
like,
sister's
"What?"
like,
I don't know.
I don't think that's kind of what you want to say.
It's like, I don't know if that flows that well.
It's like, what if they want to kill someone?
It's like, oh, okay, I don't know about that. Yeah, like everything within reason, like
Yeah,
yeah, everything always like within reason. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No like felonies here.
yeah.
Um okay, let's move on to what I call the 4 1s. So these are sort of like where you see yourself or like future goals within 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, and what 1 decade. Uh,
Mm. So 1 week from now, I just plan to continue posting my videos on YouTube.
Mhm.
I'm actually about to start school, so I probably should go back to uh, relearning some algorithms and stuff for programming. Um, a month from now, it's going to be school, so just trying to stay focused. That's also about the time my mom's restaurant should be finished, and I'm like
Okay.
her partner, like her chef as well. So like I also have to help cook and stuff with that.
Mhm.
So there's that, and then a year from now, probably still continue in school. Depending on what happens with COVID, I don't know how it's going to affect financially, like all these schools and myself. Um, and then, of course, I plan on at least reaching like a couple hundred subscribers on my channel. That's my goal.
Mhm.
Really just kind of broadcast myself out there. I'm already broadcasting myself
Yeah.
in other formats. And in a decade from now, I don't know. There's, like I said from a long time ago, it's just like there's so many paths that I have for myself now that
Yeah.
it's really just up to where life just lands me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm very, very passionate about my channel, my YouTube
Mhm.
channel, and I'm just passionate about video games in general. I can see myself almost, I don't want to say this because I don't think everybody should do it, but like I can almost see myself just kind of dropping out of school and just
Mhm.
doing YouTube full time because I love it so much.
Yeah.
It sounds so cliche because a lot of like very famous YouTubers are like they have that path where they went to
Yeah.
school and then they dropped out midway.
Mhm.
But if it's like something you're passionate about, then you
Yeah.
shouldn't postpone it for the sake of like a security blanket. Sometimes you just
Yeah.
gotta again just take that leap and
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta try it. If it doesn't work out, then you can pivot.
yeah.
So
And I think for the most part I've set myself enough to where I could almost take the leap and it won't hurt me too much. So
yeah.
that's what I see myself in a hopefully in a decade, like at least still doing YouTube, if anything on the side, and at least being close to like finishing a video game or something like something. 'Cause I
Yeah.
just want to make it like a nice little 8-bit video game, whether it's my own personal project or like a company I'm working with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I thought about rephrasing this question. Um, Instead of like future goals, like where do you see yourself? Like, think of your like most idealistic self. Like what does that person look like? Like it's super high level.
yeah, yeah. I need to
Yeah.
open up my third eye right now.
Yeah, it's like like if everything that if like all your goals were met and like everything lined up, like everything was like perfect, so to speak, perfect.
uh,
Like what kind of person would that be? Like what position would you be in?
Realistically and honestly, I feel
Yeah.
like I would achieve my degree
Mhm.
for gaming, but I don't see myself actually using it until probably way later.
Yeah.
Uh, I feel I'm just so focused and in love with making videos and playing
Mhm.
video games again that uh, that's what I want to do and that's what I want to focus on. I already told like my counselor for school that like I'm just going to school more because I have to and less because I want to.
Mm.
And I don't think anybody should go for that. I have my reasons why I have to, but uh like if I could just stop school and go straight to just doing YouTube full time, then I would, but I can't. But yeah, and I see myself in the future just having my degree, and it's just there, kind of like my phlebotomy license. It's just there right now.
Yeah, it's like a tool in the toolkit, right?
Yeah. I'm literally like that phrase, jack of all trades and master of none.
Yeah.
So, but I'll call it master of one because I love freaking editing videos and making videos. So
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm going to be mastering, and I think that's where I'm going to stay with, is just being on YouTube and being whatever platform eventually blooms up from there.
Yeah, I've been doing that more recently, video editing. Like I never did any video editing before the podcast except for the band multimedia. But even then I was using like freaking Windows Movie Maker. Like, I remember trying to render that video, and I made a horrible decision and decided to render it before the banquet.
Oh my god.
And my computer was really slow. I couldn't render it in time. And so that's why at the banquet there was no band multimedia. I don't know if you remember this. I remember it because I screwed up. So then we showed the band multimedia like during like class time. Like probably like the last week of class or something like that.
Yeah, I think I
actually got
remember
to render it. Yeah. It was rough. But nowadays I'm like, all right, don't render stuff literally like the day of. Yeah, but yeah, there's something satisfying about like video, like content creation. And something that's like kind of like evergreen in terms of like it's always gonna be online, and maybe like someone will like stumble upon it and find enjoyment out of it. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the podcast. I'm trying to make it like as evergreen as possible.
Yeah, Zandra and I both kind of have like the same philosophy as well as you. And on top of it, just kind of like, even if no one watches it, it's a good memory for ourselves.
Yeah.
Just kind of like fall back and be like, this happened. And I don't even remember saying what I said. Like RJ's video, I went straight to like my interview and I was like, I said that? Which, I mean, it was kind of, because before I said I was going to join the National Guard and I ended up joining the Navy. So it's like,
that's close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough. But yeah, it's just nice to see that memory, especially since everything's so digital and
oh yeah, nowadays, definitely.
It's so easy to access. It's like, why not just like upload the video and just put it there?
Yeah, for sure. Regarding school, like what kind of things are you learning? Because I have a computer science background, so I know all the programming stuff and the suffering that you have to go through. Right?
Last semester or last school year, we start off with Java, so we're not doing like Python or anything like that. I don't think we're ever gonna touch it, which is kind of sad, but I guess they just want us to start off with like the OG stuff.
Yeah, Java's pretty like everyone knows. If you know Java, you can pick up. Well, if you learn any like one language, you can pick up anything else. So but I think like, Java is like a good place to start because it's so verbose.
Yeah.
And when you're learning, you want things to be really verbose because it helps you learn.
Yeah, I did notice that like when I was looking into like Python and stuff, like almost everything was just kind of there.
Yeah, it's like, what the heck is like?
Sorry, my dog is barking at one of the puppies.
Okay.
And Emery, come here. What was I gonna say? And last semester we started dabbling into like NetBeans and like kind of designing our stuff. Like we made cash register stuff, like, you know, just the basic exercises. Unfortunately though, because of COVID, a lot of our projects got canceled, so we never even got to finish like learning it completely. So I don't remember too much. So I'm gonna probably play around on NetBeans and try that out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, oh god.
Yeah, NetBeans is it's a pretty hardcore IDE because it's like made for professionals.
Yeah.
So if you're learning Java, I would not recommend using NetBeans. This is because there's so many like other things included with that development environment. I would just stick with like a simple code editor, like
Yeah.
Notepad++ or Sublime or something like that.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah. I had a we had to make our own little website, and I
okay,
felt
yeah,
I felt so much like a little kid on elementary school, just kind of like here's a. I think we had to just put like pictures and like descriptions, and
mhm,
it was just like super simple, and we
yeah,
had to make sure it turned pages,
yeah,
and it just felt like a very small exercise. But I want to go back and like learn how to make more web pages, especially because my mom
right.
with her restaurant. So I guess
Oh
that'll be a
yeah,
good
yeah.
like project for myself.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's why I think like programming is such a good skill to have, regardless of what you're what you're interested in.
mhm.
Because yeah, for example, like with your restaurant business, you can make a website for the restaurant business so that people can order online and that stuff, or you can have the menu online and
Yeah.
those sorts of things. Um, so like I love how versatile like programming is. Just
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't regret this decision
Mhm.
whatsoever. Like I think I even convinced my sister to do it because
Yeah.
she loves like science in
Mhm.
itself, but she doesn't know what like kind
What
of
to do
like
with it?
specific science she
Yeah.
wants to go towards because she went towards like marine biology and then she went to like
Mm.
nursing, and then I was like, why don't you just do programming because it doesn't
Mhm.
have to deal with blood and like the stress of like customer service,
Right, right.
but like you know you're still kind of thinking with your brain and
Yeah.
it's complicated that, and I know you've like succeeded in it, so now
Mhm.
she's gonna do programming, so I won.
Got him. But yeah, it's cool because you can apply it to like in the industry.
Hmm.
And that's what I love about it. Like you can go to the medical industry, you can
Hmm.
go into like the movie industry, you can go
Yeah.
into video games. There's so
Yep.
many like different things you could do with it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people are starting to catch on like how versatile it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, that's why it's such a popular major
Hmm.
in schools because the classes are always impacted.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like some people they try to go for like the minors and stuff
Hmm.
because of it's less of a requirement, and maybe they're already like in their senior year of their original major. It's like, oh, I can't just pivot to computer science,
Yeah.
but I'll just do the minor. I'll get the minor.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. What do you call this? Like, it's surprising because over here in the Philippines, it's actually small. Like, our class is only like 20 people.
oh wow, is that just for
Yeah.
the whole school?
Yeah. For the whole entire college,
Uh huh.
for programming itself. I mean, there's IT,
Yeah,
and IT itself has 40 people.
yeah.
So, like,
It's a little bit different area.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a different area, but like for the programming, like in-depth programming part, it's only 20 people, and it's very interesting that
Hmm.
there isn't a lot more. I guess because the selling point is that it's easier to be an IT person than it is to
Oh
be.
yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it's a little bit easier. It does have its difficulties, like
yeah.
networking. Networking is a whole 'nother beast. Like,
Oh
there's a
yeah.
reason why people make such a good living with, like, networking because like, it's really difficult. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, like but, I think IT, it's a little bit easier, but you get paid, like, maybe a little bit less, so it just
Hmm.
kinda evens out.
Hmm.
And plus, like, every organization needs, like, an IT department if they're using any sort of computer system. Um But yeah, I don't know, I find development more fun than, like, supporting a network of computers.
Yeah. I like to build things from the ground
Yeah,
up.
yeah, I love to build things, and sometimes when I'm at work, like, I don't really care about the coding, what I care about is, like, the end product. 'Cause,
Hmm.
like, when you see, like, the end product and it works and, like, you see the screens and all of your blood, sweat, and tears, like, going into your source code, like, it's
Yeah.
great seeing the end product.
Hmm.
Right, because you're creating something, and
Hmm.
just that content creation is I don't know, that's super fun to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just so it's like so worth it and rewarding,
Yeah.
especially like when you go back. and like you're testing, and then you have that one code that just doesn't want to work, and you don't know
Yeah.
why, and you're just like going back and forth, like, what did I spell wrong? What did I input
Yep.
wrong?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just like, um, it's so. I think it's also very like under. I don't know what the right word. The only word that's coming up is like underestimated, but
Mhm.
like people don't really calculate like how difficult it must be
Right,
to,
yeah, because
because
yeah, a
they
lot of
just.
people, they're using, like, your phone and, it's like the app just kinda works for them, but
Mhm.
to know what happens under the hood of the app, it's crazy what needs to happen.
Yeah,
Because I actually know what happens under the hood, and it's not as easy as people think it is.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but
That's literally.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's literally what I've been like telling like my sister now. Now that like I'm in the course, and then like I watch like I play these video games, and I see some of these apps not work, and like I'm reading the reviews or
Mhm.
uh complaints of like what some people are saying, and I'm just like, well, I'm pretty sure this is why this is happening.
Yeah.
Or like I was fangirling over the way back in the day, like I think last year or something. Like Fortnite did this, Epic Games did this weird thing
Yeah.
with Fortnite where they kind of like turned it off for all their servers, like Xbox, PlayStation 4,
Mhm.
and the PC, and like everyone was like complaining about it. But I was just like, I think I know what it is, and it's a bunch of like not only like licensing stuff, but it's also like the
Yeah.
programming to make sure that everything's in sync because they have cross-platform now, and to be fair for all these
Mhm.
platforms and customers and
Mhm.
players and gamers that are utilizing and playing the games, like you want it to all have it at the same time. So it's just like I can see from the creator standpoint what they're doing, and
Mhm.
the way they did it was like a genius thing because it was very immersive. Um, for the gamers to experience. And it wasn't just one of those like notice like, hey, your game's gonna be coming back up in a few days. Like they
Mhm.
had something for like interactive for like the gamers to do while they waited. And I thought
Mhm.
that was kind of a genius move. So that just made me fall in love more with like the career path I want to go
Yeah.
towards.
Yeah. Yeah, game development is definitely, like, a big beast, for sure. Like, even within programming, it's like a big sub-industry, I don't know what you call it, like, it's like a sub-industry within, like, the programming, computer software, like, engineering, industry. Like, I tried to make my own, like, iOS game, and I'm learning all these different things, and I'm like, all these concepts are completely different from what I actually know
Mhm.
from, like, things that I learned on my, like, just, on my job.
Yeah.
Because with, like, video games, you have to learn about physics, you have to learn about, like, vectors, and it's just like, there's just so much there's so much to do, like, I don't know if I wanna spend this time to do it. Because even if you finish the game, like, you have to get people to play it, right?
Yeah.
And, like, you have to get the audience, and that can be kinda rough to do.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
My
it's
cat.
okay. But yeah, well, anyways, Natasha, good luck on the programming. If you need help, let me know. Um, yeah, I would get stuck a lot, like, when I was learning Java, I literally couldn't understand the syntax for, like, the first 3 weeks.
Mhm.
Like, I had no idea what public meant, I had no idea where you put the braces of
Yeah.
your methods, stuff like that, but then after, like, the 4th week, everything just kinda clicked.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was like that for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit slower. I felt a little bit intimidated because a lot of my classmates are from like this science techie school,
Yeah.
like private school, and I guess they were already learning a little bit of programming before
Mhm.
they went to college. So some of them like already get it, and I'm just kind of like a little bit on the slow side.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
But
it's
it took
okay
me,
as long as you have the
about two
resources.
months. I
Yeah.
think it took me about like 2 months to really like grasp it
Mhm.
completely. Because for the most part, I just kind of like had it in my head.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like, when you're learning it at first, it's just it's just like if you think about learning like English, for example, like you can learn like what the words mean, but
Mhm.
when you try to create a sentence, that's like a different beast. I think like programming is kind of like the same thing.
Yeah.
Like you know what an if statement is, you know what a for loop is, but like what does this mean in the context of the whole program?
Yeah.
It's difficult
Yeah.
when you're learning.
Yeah, I'm still trying to understand when to use certain methods
Yeah.
for what I want it to do.
Mhm.
Because sometimes I get too stuck on like what the lesson is, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and then my other classmates are like, well, you can just use the method that we learned a couple lessons ago,
Mhm.
and you can get to the and that's the best part that I love about programming is that there's so many different ways to go about it. There
Mhm.
isn't just one
Oh,
specific
yeah.
way,
Mhm.
um, which makes it very interesting, but also very frustrating when you're stuck
Oh,
because
yeah, it's very frustrating, for sure. Because what matters is, like, the result. How you get the result, because it's kinda up to you,
hmm
I feel like. Like, you can be, like, super, like, very inefficient, but still get the right answer, which is great.
yeah.
But generally, I think readability is the most important part. Like,
Mhm.
if someone else can look at your code and be like, "Okay, I understand exactly what this is doing," then,
Mhm.
like, that's a win in your book.
Yeah.
Yeah, because readability, I feel like, I don't it's just something that I learned from one of my professors. Um, I think valuing readability is important because have you ever done that thing where, like, you'll write something and then you'll look at it, like, 2 months later and be like, "I wrote that?" Like,
Yeah.
um, like, "This makes no sense to me."
Yeah.
But if you can look at it and be like, "Oh, I understand what I was doing back then,
Mhm.
like, that's a really good point, um, in your, like, programming career,
Yeah.
because you can, like,
Yeah.
portray that. Like
Yeah.
like
I'll probably look at my old projects because I saved all of them
yeah,
and like try to see if I can read them properly.
yeah, yeah. Alright, Natasha, I think we're gonna wrap it up. So any, shout outs you wanna give or, like, places where we can find you?
Uh, shout outs to all my drumline squad.
Yeah.
No, no, just a shout out to all the new people and current people and about to graduate
Oh,
uh,
yes.
members of marching band. You guys can do it, and don't freak out too much. Believe in yourselves. Don't what's the term? I guess that's about it. Just believe in yourself and
Mhm.
appreciate everything that you have now, and don't take it too much for granted. Uh, and then you can find me on YouTube, Zero Mugen. It's just spelled the word zero, capital Z, and then Mugen, capital Mugen. Um, on YouTube. I also have a Facebook page. I think it's Zero
Mhm.
Mugen Gaming. Uh, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Alright. Cool. Well, thank you for being on this episode of Post-Tsunami, and,
Mhm.
wishing you
Thank
well,
you for
Natasha.
having me.
Yeah.
Bye, dude.
Alright, take care.